Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, everyone, welcome back to another Friday night live stream here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. So glad, so very glad to be back in the shop and working. I do enjoy this workshop immensely. I especially enjoy being back in the north where it's cold, huh?
Yes, quite chilly.
Yeah, like being in a refrigerator. Jessica, maybe not so much. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I could have a heated box, you know, that'd be good.
Well, welcome everybody. Glad to have you here. Thank you for all the people who have already started to tune in and get in here. Make sure to share the stream around with your friends. We ought to have a lot of fun this evening. It should be fairly action-packed. Now, I'm hoping to get this little hook done that I started at the UMBA conference and was unable to finish. We can go camera number 2, Jess.
All right.
I've already made several videos on the channel around a very similar hook. I made this as a fancy, French Baroque style wall hook for the sawtooth candle trammel that I had made in Tom Latney's class. So I made up a bunch of different types of hooks. My FABA conference was a similar hook, but a little bit different. And I did some different things with the scrolls. And so hopefully I can work and play around with this a little bit this evening while, you can go back to camera number 1, Jess, while we are giving things away as well throughout the evening here. So we are slotted from 7 to 9. We have ran late. It's been one action-packed day trying to be ready to go for this thing. I think we're getting rustier at these things as we go. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
We need to go back to live streaming like 4 times a week or something until we get practiced. So, but who do we have, Jess?
Yeah, we have Michael Murphy, North Country Forge, John Mayberry, High Desert, Burnt Mushroom Blacksmithing, Bill Billings.
Hello, hello.
Marianne Thomas says, but do you really like the cold?
I do really like the cold. Do you see Jessica?
I
Jessica
really
is
do not.
in a full jacket. Do you see me?
I can
Not
say,
in a full jacket.
the lack of bugs is nice. That's the plus side about winter. And the snow is pretty.
So, good to have you all. Thank you for being here. So, in tonight's stream, we will not only be giving away another one of those Mr. Volcano Gas forges. What is that? The Mr. Volcano Gas Hero?
Number 11.
Yep. So that'll be number 11. So we've given away 11 forges, or we've given away 10 up to this point. So we'll be giving away Gas Forge number 11 tonight. I will also be giving away a pair or 2 of blacksmithing tongs provided by Blacksmith Supply. Is that correct, Jess? Yeah.
Yes.
John over at Blacksmith Supply. So I'll be giving away a pair or 2 of those. Those are the tongs. I do have to go get those. We're still not fully set up yet, are we?
No.
So along with some sticker packs, and also we will probably give away a few blank items, and you'll get to see Jessica and I rummage and figure all that out.
On the fly.
On the fly as we go. This is usually not how we do it, but I took a little bit too long today catching up on business stuff. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get this piece in. I need to start heating this piece up. I'm getting the collar warm. And Jessica can drop us some comments and some questions and all that good stuff.
Tabaka Maker says Roy doesn't even have his furry hat on.
Nope. Not cold enough yet. It'll get there. It'll get there.
Let's see. Tim O'Connor says, how much snow did we get?
We had about... It depends where we're at. Some of our snow blows away because we do have a lot of open ground. We're not as treed as other areas. But in our particular area, we got between 4 to 6 inches in the yard. So it just depends on where you're standing.
Keith Tonesing says, how's the shoulder, Roy?
The shoulder's fine. I would say it's probably back 80%, 80-85% of what it was. So it's doing a lot better. Right before I went down on my little conference tour there to Florida, to FABA and to UMBA, yeah, I was really kicking up a storm. I'm like, man, this is going to be really terrible, I was like, I'm not looking forward to it.
David Reedner says, question, I got anthracite coal. It doesn't burn well at all. If I start a fire, then stockpile it near the pit, will that help the coal to burn better when I am ready to add it in?
So yeah, it's anthracite coal, and the question is?
It doesn't burn well, so if he stockpiles it near the pit, will it help it burn better when he adds it in?
Oh, so if you stockpiled it up near the center of the forge? Anthracite, I'm just going to be honest with you, anthracite's going to be one of those coals that you're going to fight with. It burns much like a rock, basically. it burns like a stone. So I'm trying to think of answering this in a way that'll be helpful to you. The anthracite that you're using, if you're stockpiling extra up, yeah, it's getting warmed, but it's not going to catch on fire until you put enough air to it. Anthracite will burn really hot, but anthracite does not coke up, so therefore it doesn't get the porous substrate or the structure that the coke does from green bituminous coal or from your metallurgical grade coke, stuff where you can buy coke straight up. It doesn't have the same surface area, so it doesn't have the same insulative properties. That's why anthracite requires, like, almost 100% of the time, oxygen being added to the fire. A coke forge is very similar because all the volatiles have been kind of burnt out, all the tars and oils and other things that are mixed in with bituminous coke. So it burns better, but you know, the coke will burn a little bit better than obviously, well, it'll burn a lot better than the green coal will, but you will have that same issue. If you walk away from it for a long period of time, don't expect a fire still to be there. Anthracite, in my experience, as soon as you take away oxygen from it, it dies out pretty quickly. So the biggest thing you can do is to keep a constant flow of airflow going to it, and you can't manage it the same as you would a green coal fire that's in bituminous coal, or the way that you would manage a coke fire. It's kind of its own little breed. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's the way she is.
Robert Lana says, you must be happy to get back to Olga after that church bell at Umba. It was pretty noisy.
Yeah, the Umba, whew.
Needed a magnet or some extra
halfway
chains or
through the
something.
demonstration, I ended up, like, I couldn't stand it any longer. I took one of my gloves and I taped it up around the horn, and then it quieted it down. I should have done that right off the cusp, but I did not. All right, so I've got this piece heated up. I'm going to have to add some of that word we don't say on the channel. We're going to add some mysterious pixie powder to this. Because this being a demonstration piece, it has been allowed to build up oxidization underneath the collar. And hence we need the cleaning action of that magical pixie dust to make sure that we get all of the scale or the oxides cleaned out from underneath the collar. So I'm going to throw that on there. It's probably more than I need. Hopefully y'all can see that. As I showed in my demonstration, you can't see it here, but that the pixie powder there is actually flowing through that joint, and it's helped cleaning out those oxides. So now I'll throw it back in the fire.
Or on the floor.
Or on the floor and burn down the shop, like you do.
Thank goodness for gravel.
So now I'll put it back in the fire, and I'm going to bring that part up to a welding heat. And I'm going to try to weld up this collar here. Questions, Jess?
Sure. Peggy says, hi, Roy and Jess. Love seeing you at the Umba Fall Conference.
Who is that?
Peggy.
Peggy, hello. Good seeing you there as well.
See, Keith says, what are the pros and cons to a coal forge versus a charcoal forge?
Pros and cons for coal versus charcoal. So, coal is going to get hotter. Infinitely hotter than what charcoal will. So that's a pro. Coal takes more air, or takes more air to keep the coals hot than what charcoal does, so that's a con. Charcoal takes a very light air draft, so it's really nice in the little hand crank forges to burn charcoal in. So that's a plus side for it. The downside, it doesn't get as hot, and there's a lot more danger of burning something down because you have fire fleas, or you got little embers that pop out of the charcoal, and they fly and they float up and whisper away up in the air. So unless you have a really good way of containing those with a nice spark arrestor on your chimney stack, that could cause a problem in dry areas. Plus side, a pro to doing charcoal, none of your neighbors are going to hate you. It just smells like you're grilling out. Con to coal, consequently, is it's going to smell like, 1906 and the black lung, right? So your neighbors might not be as enthusiastic about your use of coal versus they might be a lot more enthusiastic about charcoal. So those are just some general pros and cons. Coal is generally easier to get your hands on in the eastern portion of the United States, as where charcoal will be a little easier on the western portion of the United States. Charcoal is more expensive, coal is cheaper. Coal is about the cheapest you can get as far as the forging fuel goes, unless you have to do a lot of crazy importing of it. And if that's the case, well, it's not a good option for you.
Rusty Hubcap, thank you for the $50 super chat.
Thank you, Rusty Hubcat. Greatly appreciate that. All right, I'm going to bring this up to heat, nice and slow. Hopefully get it up nice and hot. It's a little different setup. I don't want to burn up all my work.
Justin Ray, have a great evening, buddy.
Have a great evening, Justin. Thanks for coming out. Are you ready to go camera 2, Jess?
Yep, already there.
All right.
Make sure we don't miss it.
All right, out we go. And we gotta drop it. Like you do. Okay, I gotta straighten this up slightly. That collar is welded. Go ahead and brush her. Nice. That's what I'm looking for. Just planishing that down a little bit. Can they see that okay?
Yes.
I can't really see on my little 2.5, 3-inch monitor.
Yeah,
Is it
that
too
works.
bright?
No, it's good.
All right. So just like that, that collar's welded on. Now we're ready to take and do the fun stuff, which is scroll all these things out.
Michael and Steven, Roy is working on finishing this French Baroque hook he started at the UMBA conference.
Yep. And now I've got to find me a pair of tongs that'll fit that a little bit better.
See, Possum Sausage says, what was your reason for starting out with the pixie powder? Was it because it was that it was already started and cooled with scale on it?
Yeah, so so I get in trouble for this all the time, but I've got to talk about the functionality of Flux. It's a big misunderstanding what Flux is and what Flux does. We're good on that. While I talk this out, I'm just going to set it back in the fire, but I'm not going to heat nothing until I get things straightened out, you know. So the best way I can explain Flux is think about Flux like a detergent, like a laundry detergent, a soap, a cleaning agent, and mild acid, however you want to think about it. But basically what it does is it eats away the surface oxidization on the material, on the steel, and it moves that surface oxidization, i.e. scale or iron oxide, it takes and moves that to the outsides of your welded joint through capillary action at high heats or high temperatures. So scale is like a cleaning agent. Scale, you do not need flux to do any of the welding like I just did, except when the scale is going to be trapped and therefore can't get out of the joint. Now, if you sit here and you're demonstrating, and let's say I grab this piece and I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you all with it and I'm showing it off and it was at a welding heat, anywhere where them oxygen molecules can get down and interact with the iron on that piece, it's going to create iron oxide. So it's going to create that throughout the joint of the piece. And now as you're talking or you're monkeying around with it and you're looking at it out here in the oxygen, not only is the outside of this scaling, but the inside of that joint is scaling up, unnecessarily so. So when you go to stick it back in the fire and you bring it out and you give it pops and it doesn't stick, it's because you build up a layer of iron oxide between those two layers and it's prevented it from sticking. Or you'll have uneven sticking. So you'll have one part of the collar a weld and the next part don't. Or say in the concept of like an axe that you split and you put a bit in and then only part of it welded and you couldn't get the rest of it welded up. That is because that portion became exposed to a lot of oxygenation and you have scale preventing you from making a good clean weld in that area. So when you are welding, it is best to clean your pieces, put on your joint at a lower scaling heat or at 0 scaling heat, which is about a dull orange all the way to black. You stick it in the fire, you bring it up to forge welding, no talking, no monkeying about, no showing your friends, no looking at it, pull it out, get the surfaces welded together, and you don't need any flux. But because this being a demonstration piece where I went around a crowd of people and showed each step like this, what am I doing? I'm introducing oxygen to the joint that's going to be welded, and so therefore it's building scale constantly. I did not get far enough in the demonstration where I could just weld it up real quick and then move on. Time ran out on me. So that is the reason for fluxing this particular piece, because I had iron oxides trapped in there. Flux is not a protective coating. Flux is not a candy coating. Flux does not prevent oxygen from getting at your material. It does none of those things. Flux takes and eats away at a high temperature. There's agitation that is happening on the surface of that material. It eats away at the iron oxide and it moves it to the edges of your welding plane or your welded joint. And so when you whack on the piece, it expels it very easily out of the joint. And you have two clean surfaces of material. If you just dump flux on, you just swirl it around in a bucket of flux, you're not doing anything. The only thing you are doing is you're using up a bunch of flux, and in a lot of ways, you can actually add too much flux to a joint where the capillary action doesn't actually have anywhere to go. If you'll notice, when I fluxed it on one edge and let it wick through the joint. I didn't coat the entire area with flux because I have an understanding of flux that is not that popular with people because it's truth. But It's because of understanding that what that flux actually does and how it actually moves the scale out of my joint. I need just a tiniest little sprinkle of flux in order to clean a whole joint like that and get a weld. So if you're trying it at home, try getting a perfectly neutral forging environment inside your forge. How do you know you've got that? When you pull it out and it has no scale on it. No oxidization, no pimply scale on it. And then all of a sudden when you pull it out, you'll see all of a sudden it'll start getting all that pimply scale all over it. It'll start oxidizing up. That's how you know you've got a good oxygen neutral environment inside your forge. Same goes for gas forges, same goes for coal, coke, charcoal. The same goes for all of those. If you can pull it out and it's clean, like as if you just brushed it and put it in there, even at a high heat, that means you have a nice oxygen neutral environment. Long-winded answer, but that's why I teach a 3-day forge welding intensive class. Mm-hmm. And I walk everybody through all that forge welding theory.
Hi, Uncle Buck. Says, who got Roy fired up on Flux?
Oh, I'm not fired up. It's just a good question. I like those questions because it gives me a chance to give longer answers and kind of dispel myths along the way.
Hard to tell which of you jokesters are just kidding and who has actual questions about Flux.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them are just joking around. So it depends on whether they're regulars or not.
Yeah, right.
If they're regulars, they're just getting your goad. Yeah.
Somebody asked if you can use it to join 2 dissimilar metals.
You could use it for what?
Can you use Flux to join 2 dissimilar metals?
No. No. Flux alone, no. Yes, you can forge weld aluminum to titanium all day long with just flux alone. Yep. Just flux alone. And while you're at it, get you a bit of uranium and throw it in there too to make an extra bond. But make sure it's really good and active stuff because we don't need further contributions from you in this world. That's bad. All right, this is ready to scroll up.
All right.
Go to camera 2.
Burnt Mushroom says how many scrolls are going to be in this piece?
A lot. So there is, I don't want to say, there is a lot per side. So I'm going to use this to use my scroll and tongs, tighten everything up. So if I count it, to answer your question more accurately, there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 quadrants of 3. So 12 in total, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So quite a few.
Jerry Witt wants to know when you're going to forge a knife from Flux.
Soon. That's on my OnlyFans channel.
Oh yeah, that's right, Tim O'Connor, with the toilet spoon.
Yeah. The channel's name is Late Night with Flux. There's probably some channel out there that is actually named that.
Or somebody who will start one after this.
Yeah, somebody will start one after this. For sure.
Cracker Jack says, what kind of tongs do you generally use the most?
Bar stock tongs, I would say, or bolt jaw. Just depends on what I have on hand. I would say bar stock and bolt jaw tongs are my main forging tongs that I use. We can go to camera 2.
Okay.
So just bar stock tongs like this. They've got a little V in the nibs, one this way and one directly in. That's just a standard bar stock tong. I use my scrolling tongs, like dang near constant. It's just a great way of tweaking things. And then I also use a whole host of different bolt jaw tongs. And that's really handy whenever you've got a hook or a curvature that you're having to grip around. So I would say that's the main ones right there. I do have specialty tongs. I have tongs that I make and then remake into something else later on for specialty jobs. Just depends on what the work requires. At one time I had probably I had about 150 pairs of tongs. I really slimmed that way down. I slimmed it down to, I think I've got a total of like 30 or 40 pairs of tongs in the shop in total. And then of those tongs, there's maybe 15 that I use, well, 10 that I use all the time. And I kind of just grab all sorts of sizes with one pair of tongs. So, kind of like these. These are bar stock, but I'm using them as flat stock as well. Just kind of hold this. It fits the piece. So whatever fits the piece, those are the tongs I use. All right, go to camera 2 again.
All right. RTK 615 sent a $5 super chat. Andy says, I just started forging 2 weeks ago. I have a brake drum forge and it sucks so bad. Any advice on how to make it better, or am I SOL?
So, many people can forge on a brake drum forge. There's nothing wrong with brake drum forges as a whole. What I would suggest, if you're having problems with it, is to look at your fire pot size. So, that being said, I would say look at the fire pot size. So you want a fire pot. There you go. Just got those bin out. Brain was interrupted by good question. I'll set those back in there to get them heated up. So a good fire pot depth is between 4 to 6 inches for general forging. Between 6 and 8 for more heavy forging is what you want as far as a fire pot depth. Now, that is the depth. A lot of people will get brake drums that are big drums and try to fill the entire mass up and get the whole mass hot. That's not what you're wanting. You would be better off with a brake rotor. That has a depth of about 2 to 3 inches, so it's more like a rivet forge. There's a very shallow fire pot there, but you can still work with it. But the difference is it has a much smaller diameter. The fire pot in here is about 8 inches square, and standard brake rotor is about 6 inches in diameter. So you want to look for a brake rotor if you're forging out of a great big drum, because the air is not hitting all of the coal. It's only hitting really right where you're at. So you're not completely hosed on that. You just have to work with what you got. Now, one thing you can do, let's say you've already built this forge and the fire pot's like just really massive. You can come back in with clay and build yourself some sloped walls to take and create a nicer fire pot, more direct. There is a secret behind the way fire pots have been shaped. It's the distribution of air, the way oxygen interacts with the medium that you're burning, so coal in this case, and the way that it creates cavitations, it helps spread like this. So if you have something with straight walls, that's not as handy, and what you have is you have a lot of areas that are cooling, and they suck the heat away, and they don't really catch fire, so to speak. They're more like insulative, if you think about it. Versus this cone shape that you see in a lot of professional fire pots, that is there because of physics, because it works. I don't want to get super deep into that tonight. I'll never get hooks or shipping things away. I should probably do a full video on fire pots and the reason why they're designed the way they are. But basically, in a nutshell, if you can create that tapered shape, it will help you out immensely on your stuff. And you could do that a lot of different ways. the most common way is clay, shaped clay to come down to a point where the air blast is. It'll help localize the heat and it'll be a lot easier time on you. All right. So for this particular one, I'm going to roll up this inner one. It's going to be fairly loose. Then I'm going to roll this one up. So this is really just me having a play around with whatever I think will look good. I've tried to go a little bit different with each one of these. So I'll have to get more heat into this to get it exactly the way I want to make it look. Hopefully you guys can see how that looks. How's that look, hon?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Good. There's a lot of flat areas on that still I don't like. There's a lot of cleanup work I'll have to do. Get things adjusted just right. And I'm going to do a little something different with the top than what I've done before.
Wayne Hines wants to know if you preheated your anvil tonight.
Have I what?
Preheated your anvil tonight.
Not a chance.
Wrap up Olga in a nice warm blankie.
Yeah, no. If you want your anvil to be warm, use it.
Stephen B says, what kind of burn time do you get from a 20-pound tank on a single burner Mr. Volcano?
I won't really know that. I don't have a 20-pound tank that I ran it with. I run it with a 40-pound tank. Now, I prefer, if you're going to take and light up a gas forge, you run it with at least a 40-pound tank. The reason for that being is that there's so much volume in a gas forge burner, there's so much expansion that the tanks can't help but to frost up or freeze. So you're going to have a much better forging experience with a 40-pound propane tank or a 30-pound propane tank than you will with a 20-pounder. That being said, a 20-pound propane tank on a, well, let's say on a 40-pound propane tank, when I was doing my initial testing, I was getting about a day or two of run time out of it. Now, a day or two, that looked maybe like 5-6 hours per day. So, you know, if you were trying to break that up into forging sessions, you could probably get between, I would say, 6 to 8 forging sessions as a beginner out of a 40-pound propane tank. Yeah, that's what I would say with that. Because mostly when you're a beginner, your forging sessions are going to be a little bit longer. Now, that changes as you're trying to do things like forge welding. If you try to forge weld, you're going to maybe get 2 or 3 forging sessions out of a 40-pound propane tank. But a 20-pound, you can half all of that. So, just something to think about and consider. Like how that looks.
Joe McGilligravy. Let's see, today we only have the one live going on. This morning we did post a demonstration from UMBA that took place over the weekend. So you may have been watching that prior to coming into the live stream.
Yep.
And then also we have scheduled our Great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway. That'll be on December 16th. And so also YouTube may be promoting that as well. Showing that that's an upcoming live stream.
So I like that pretty well. So now I'm going to balance that with the other side. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to do a little something different with this center. Instead of just leaving it a straight line, I'm actually, with the center part, I'm actually going to create a bit of a snaky curve to it.
That'd be nice.
Like a flame top to make it more whispery. Mm-hmm. We are getting a northern snow, Jess.
Is it?
You see it sprinkling in under the eaves?
Not really.
Do you not see it coming down on me?
I know, I'm used to it like downpouring snow on you. It's like, what are you talking about? Peter Ahren says, can you convert a Mr. Volcano into a natural gas?
Probably could. How it will burn will be dependent on where you are in relation to sea level and orifice size. I don't know what the orifice size is on a Mr. Volcano gas forge. I would ask the manufacturer on that. So I should make this disclaimer. I have no affiliation whatsoever with Mr. Volcano gas forges. I have no clue where they come from. I don't know if they're American made. Don't know where they import them. Don't even know the owner of the company's name. So I'm just as in the dark as everyone else. It just seemed like a possible option for me to be able to afford to do these kind of giveaway live streams and bless the community. With that being said, Mr. Volcano Gas Forge did say, somebody there said that they would hold back a total of 12 of them for us this year, just in case they sold out or otherwise we would have one for our live stream. And they have kept true to their word on that. Mr. Volcano, whoever runs it, if you have a heart to want to reach out at some point and make your face be known to the world, I'm sure the blacksmithing community would like to know who's behind the whole thing at some point in time. But yeah, I have no affiliation whatsoever with Mr. Volcano Gas Forges. I have done some reviews, and I have some Amazon affiliate links, like anybody who does blacksmithing on YouTube these days. I have some Amazon affiliate links that send you to Amazon, and I get paid for some traffic if I send some traffic that way over on Amazon. Other than that, no affiliation. And as far as I know, they only sell through Amazon. So that means they could be an American-based company. They could be based in Timbuktu, for all I know. I have no clue.
Joe, to answer your question, why do we have to sit indoors when it's raining? Our roof in the barn has holes, and it will downpour on us if it rains.
Yeah.
If it's snowing, that's not really a problem. But we can't have all the camera gear and computers and stuff getting dripped on, so hence, when it rains, we go inside.
Yeah. So we have a very old barn. This barn was never shown any love whatsoever from the previous owners. And so it was an old dairy barn with hay in it, rotten hay, I should mention. It was rotten, not really good for anything. Huh?
Mulch maybe. Well, yeah, eventually it would be.
Yeah, eventually it might be good for mulch. I don't even think bacteria would want to eat it. We're just rolling this out here. So, yeah, with that being said, the roof is really in some disrepair. So eventually, hopefully next year, in the summer, I will be able to work on the roof and get it repaired. Now, we were able to do a big, huge upgrade and get the siding taken care of this year. And that was a huge undertaking. And I couldn't have done it without the help of my friend Thomas Goodymoot. That guy was absolutely excellent and instrumental in that process to get that done. Because, oh my gosh, what an amazing amount of work that was.
Yeah, it's like 2 months working 2 days a week on it.
Oh, more than that. More than 2 days a week, girl.
Well, yeah, it depended on the week.
Yeah, it depended on the week and the weather, too, you know?
Stephen White, the snow is outside.
Yes.
Where it belongs. We probably have 2 inches or so.
What's that?
So we probably have about 2 inches of snow.
Yeah. All right.
Marianne Thomas says, as a woman with small hands, do you have any recommendations for me for a good universal tongs? I made some, but they aren't the best. I have a hard time gripping them.
So if you're having trouble with tong fitment for yourself, my recommendation is to take and get a pair of commercially made tongs and adjust the reins to suit yourself. And I'm going to show you here real quick because I think it's an important thing to mention. There we go. Got a little scroll out there.
Very nice. I like that.
It's going. It's looking better. So your tong grip, if you will, is going to change based upon what you're gripping. So if you're gripping, say, like this on a very thin, small piece, this has got a taper to it, really thin like this on the end, you can see my tongs are held roughly okay. These are not very big. Jessica can operate these tongs just fine. My kids can operate them. It's not a big deal. This is actually a really good grip. But that's because it's sized appropriately for the size stock I'm trying to hold on to. When we start talking about getting universal with our pairs of tongs, okay, now they're no longer gripping the stock they were meant to. So now we're going to try to grip something a lot bigger. And if we try to grip something a lot bigger, you can see those hand placements got a lot wider. So all tongs in a blacksmith shop needs to be modified by the blacksmith to fit the work that they're doing. So that's you, the blacksmith. Does not matter your gender, your size, physical acuity, any of that. It has to be fit to you personally as the smith, especially if you're going to try to grab something universally. Now, if I'm grabbing something like this, you can see these have a long taper to them. If I grip this, look, now the handle reins are a lot closer together, right? They're back to kind of like normal, at least for here. So let's say you have a pair of tongs that you're gripping, and they're like this, and you're just like, oh man, that's just really hard for me to hold on to. What you would do is you would grip this in the vise, the jaws themselves with the bar stock that you're trying to hold on to. You would grip that in a vise, and then you would take these reins and you would heat somewhere in here and try to squeeze them together a little bit closer for you, so this way they fit. So if you've made a pair of tongs, like a handmade pair of tongs, you can do that for yourself. But also, let's say you bought, let me look for my tongs here. Let's say you went over to Blacksmith Supply and bought you a pair of tongs. Now these are a commercial made product. They're commercial made tong, but they're made of the same materials that these tongs are made out of. So it's just as adjustable. And I'll show you this. Now this will be able to fit that a lot better, but you can see it's still quite the wide grip. So if you had that and that was a problem for you, you would grip this, the jaws holding onto the stock inside a vise, and then you would heat the tong reins up and you would bring the handles closer together until you got the right fit for you. You do want them to be a little springy, and you do want them to be a little larger when they're gripping the thing. You don't want the tongs to be touching. If they're touching, you have no squeezing power. So you want them to be able to take a bite on the material and for you to be able to squeeze them a little extra hard and make sure that has a really good hold for you. Mm-hmm. So that's my recommendation on that. Now, that's not the first time I've heard of people having, smaller hands, or the women of the trade saying, hey, no gloves fit me, or the aprons aren't quite right, or this or that. That is just part of this craft. I'm fat. Not every apron's going to fit me right? So I'm just as wide as I am deep, so, right now anyhow, right? I have a custom apron that was made for me to suit me. You might have to go through several pairs of aprons to find, especially if you're a woman, you might have to go through several apron brands just to find the right fit for you. But it's like that across the whole craft and across the whole industry for men and women alike. You have to find the right things that fit you. I wear an extra large glove because my hands are like bear paws. Mm-hmm. Many years, decades of use of them, and I am not a small individual, no matter how that camera is lying to you right now. Remember, this anvil is a 465-pound anvil, and I'm still big. That was a common occurrence at the conferences. People saying, "Wow, you're a lot bigger in person." You know, I thought you were a lot shorter, and that's just a thing of the lens working there. But so I have to wear XL minimum, if not 2XL gloves, in order for my hands to fit comfortably the way I would like. If you can't find a blacksmithing glove, because anytime they make a unisex glove, they just make it big. it's just a mitt, right? It's a pocket. So you may not be able to find a quote-unquote blacksmithing glove, leather glove, from a blacksmithing supplier. But you could find really nice, they make some really nice deer hide and even cowhide gloves for gardening, don't they? They make really nice leather gloves in that department. So maybe you could use a glove. Again, it's still leather. It'll still protect your hands from a lot of abrasions and some burns, right? You can find something that's a lot smaller that'll be able to take and fit your hands. I know, Jessica, you have a problem with that too in the shop, don't you? It's like finding the right glove size.
Yeah.
Because again, what do I keep mostly in my shop? Ones to fit my bear paws. Right? That's I keep big fat gloves to fit my big fat hand in around the shop, because I'm in the shop 99% of the time. If Jessica was in the shop more often, we would find a specifically made glove for her that would be able to work. So you will have to do that in the trade of blacksmithing to all your tools. There's nothing that is set in stone, like your anvil height isn't set in stone, the height you like your vise, the where you like to position your forge. Do you like lots of light in your shop? Do you like a lot of dark areas in your shop? All of that is very variable to you, that you have to suit. You have to make these things to suit yourself. There really is no one size fits all equation there.
We have a couple of super chats on.
Yeah, go ahead.
RTK615 sent a $5 super chat. Says, I was gifted a 100-pound, 150-year-old anvil today. It is identical to the one in your restoration video. Fix it or buy a new one. It is in really bad shape.
Did they say it's in really bad shape?
Yep.
Well, now you get to take and watch that restoration video all over again, huh? Oh, congratulations, though. At least you found an anvil, right? And what sounds like for a pretty good price.
Free.
Huh?
Free.
Free. Oh. Go ahead. Next.
Yep. Tim O'Connor, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says the usual shipping donation.
Thank you, Tim O'Connor. Greatly appreciate the shipping donation. It really does help out.
Bar Run Forge says it's just your winter protection, Roy.
What's that?
It's just your winter protection.
Oh, just my winter protection. Yeah, that's right. We won't want my internal giblets to get cold, would we?
Benjamin McCravey says, what do y'all think about doing an improvement video on the $80 Amazon Forge, beefing it up and making it better?
I think it could be pretty cool. I think it could be good to do that. There's not a lot of room for improvement on the forge, the smaller forge on there, just simply because they kind of just manufactured it one way. The only way you could really improve it is insulate it better, which would give me a smaller heating chamber, which in my work isn't advantageous at all. So I could just insulate it with another round of, maybe K-wool and rigidizer and, their casonite, their refractory coating. So I could do that. You could add another burner, but that wouldn't be good because the burner they have is perfectly adequate for the size heating chamber. So an extra burner wouldn't do anything except expel more gas out the ends. So yeah, there's not a lot of improvement that you could do. The only thing I could say that would be an improvement is to change the angle of the burner. I don't really like the way the burner hits the bottom brick. That's a terrible angle for that burner. I mentioned that in my review video. Now, taking parts of that forge and then building your own with it, I could see that. I could see doing something else with the burners, and that would be a cheap way to go. Build something a bit more industrial, but using the parts from that forge would be a pretty cool way to go. And did I answer the one lady's chats there pretty good?
Yes. Huh?
Yes? All right, good.
Brittinghammer Forge wants to know your favorite Thanksgiving dish.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
See, I think mine's sweet potatoes.
Pumpkin pie. So, pumpkin pie, and I would say, it's a hard toss-up. My mom makes some amazing food whenever we go down to hers for Thanksgiving. I'm a real big fan of green bean casserole, so I do like green bean casserole. So I'll just say green bean casserole as my main dish, and I would say pumpkin pie as my dessert. Turkey, I can take or leave turkey. It's okay. I like turkey, but I kind of like turkey on Thanksgiving, and that's about it. Beyond Thanksgiving, I'm like, meh, I'm good. Been there, done it, seen it.
You're a once-a-year turkey guy?
Yeah. Been there, done that, seen it. Gobble, gobble. We all get it.
See, if we had like a family of 10, we'd have to cook turkey all the time, you know, to have enough meat. Be like Turkey Tuesdays.
We would probably have a ton of turkey, yeah. In that
Especially
case.
around here. Bar Run Forge says you're officially canceled. Green bean casserole.
Never been canceled before. Not sure I would care. You've been canceled. I'd be like, sweet. Whatever that means. Coming out a bit more.
Very cool.
Little by little.
AC Holter says, what is your opinion on taking commissions?
What's that?
What is your opinion on taking commissions?
And who asked?
AC Holter.
AC Holter. My opinion on taking commissions. So my business has evolved over time, and after this, we should probably do a giveaway. Once I get this half done, we should probably give some stuff away, right? Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty good. So our business has evolved over time. So we've been doing this professionally 11 years now, Jess? Mm-hmm. 11 or 12?
Yeah, 11, I think.
Coming up on 12. We're coming up on our 12th year in business full-time as a smith, right? Prior to that, I did that as a hobby. So in total, about 15 years of forging experience. In that nearly 12 years, so we'll just call it a decade plus, of forging as a profession, I have done things, everything and anything you can think of, I've basically done it. Yes, and even in my very, very early days, that included knives. So that was knives, tomahawks, fire pokers, candle holders, you name it. Whatever came through the door. Whatever came through the door, I did it because I was trying to take and make a living at it. So when I say come through the door, that was me throwing things at the wall and see what stuck. And I take it to craft shows and art fairs and summer fests and you name it, church get-togethers, and I tried to peddle my wares however, whenever, wherever, right? So that was the start. That was the start of Christ-centered forge and anvil versus Christ-centered ironworks, as we are called now. That being said, that evolved slowly into doing production work. I found a few key items, 4 or 5 items, that sold incredibly well, and I got really good at making those 5 key items, and I would get an occasional weird one-off commission that would come through where somebody wanted a different thing. They liked what they saw, but they wanted something slightly different. And a lot of time that led into offering another product line through the website. That being said, so I went through a phase of production mode in the shop. And that's all I did was production work. I had very little time to deviate and take on any custom commission work. Production work is soul-sucking. It really is. For me, it's soul-sucking. It just drains me of energy. Once I have mastered a process, once I have figured out all the tooling, I've made it as efficiently as I can do it without becoming a robot myself, I lose all interest in that process from there on out. So I moved into doing just commissioned work. So I started to back off the production end of things, and I started accepting more custom commission jobs that come through the door. Now that gave me the variety I was after in my work, but because nothing is ever the same, no 2 jobs are alike, that led to always having to reinvent the wheel every single job. I had to come up with new tooling, I had to come up with new math, new measurements, new ways of forging things, all in a pursuit of a particular client's job, or maybe 10 clients' jobs, or who knows what. And oftentimes what they were asking for didn't make sense to turn ever into a production item. So, how do I feel about that? Well, they have 2 very specific places in the development of me as a smith. Production work helped me with problem solving on the scale of being able to figure out how to make things efficiently, if you will, as efficiently as possible. So that really helped me with speed, if you will. It helped me develop speed. Wrong way, Roy. No wonder that was looking weird. So it helped me build up speed and efficiency in my shop. It helped me think about tooling and the way I buy tooling and what's important, what's not. What parts, when to stop hammering a piece, right? When is good enough, right? Production work forces you into that mentality of being happy with a certain amount of progress or good enough, because you're not getting paid anymore for that item. The only thing you need to do is for your same amount of time, squeeze more items into that same amount of time as accurately and as efficiently as you can. So that helped me with speeding up. What custom commission work really did for me is it helped me become a problem solver and become very diversified in what I do. So that means that helped me with having to work with clients, problem solving on the fly to solve certain issues for that particular client, and it also helped me in my designing and figuring out phase of the whole journey there. So it was a very different development process for me. So I know I'm getting very convoluted in my answer here, but I'm hoping you kind of get where I'm going with this. You're asking a very broad subject, like as if production work is good or bad, commission work good or bad. Do you want to get paid? Is that good or bad? Right? It's a very generalized thing, so therefore the generalized answer. But commission work can pay a lot of money, but commission work is a dual-edged sword. Generally, the risk is a lot higher. You're putting a lot more eggs in one basket, and if you are not financially sound in your business and you're not savvy on the way to take and do a good budget sheet and costing on a job, if you're not good at that, you're going to end up spending a lot of years eating crow. You really will when it comes to doing custom commission work. As where when you figure out something, say like a horseshoe nail hook. A horseshoe nail hook, it has its basic steps It has 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. That's it. It has 4 steps in making a horseshoe nail hook. That's with a twist in it, okay? 4 steps involved in making a horseshoe nail hook, and then you have drilling and finishing. So a total of 6 processes. You can focus in on those 6 processes and make each portion of that process as efficient as possible to where you're practically like it's being machine made, and you can squeeze a lot of them hooks into the same amount of forging time that you are in the shop. And your cost is basically going to be the same. Your material cost is the same. Your labor cost is basically the same. The only difference to you making more money or less money is how many you did in a day, right? How many units you were able to produce in a day. So very low risk for production work. Production, small items, low risk. Commission work, doing gate or railing or, you know, some sort of balcony or a big sculpture, a big public works sculpture, is a lot of work. It's a lot of risk, but there is also a lot of reward. You get the pride of saying you've worked on a piece that costs $30,000, right? And it's, you know, taking up some center island on one of them roundabouts or something, you know, in a downtown city somewhere. So you have to decide which one of those can you do as a business right now. And that answer is going to be different for everyone. Me right now, personally, I don't do custom commission work. I'm not taking on any custom commissions. I am 2 years backlogged on custom commission work. I'm not taking on any more, and I probably won't be getting at those anytime soon because I am building out other aspects of my business, and so therefore it does not make sense for me to work on custom commission work. So I'm doing what's best for me. Now, does that mean that those clients will get tired of waiting and go somewhere else? Probably. There'll be some that'll do that, but I am willing and I have the ability to take that amount of financial risk in my company to be able to do that, to be able to put work off like that. Had this been the early, not a chance. Not a chance could we have took that risk, huh, honey?
Mm-hmm, right.
We would have just done it anyhow, on top of everything else we were trying to build.
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
Is it looking wilder?
Yeah, I like
what?
that. I like it.
Good.
Each one's a little different.
Different in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way.
Kind of like, or different like you tell your crazy friend that you don't really like.
No, different in a good way.
Well, you're just different in a good way.
No, I like that one. It's more whimsical. The other ones are more, I don't know, refined? That's not quite the right word. But.
So, yeah, so long story short, I like custom commission work. Right now I don't do custom commission work because I'm building out other assets of my business. YouTube is part of my business. Teaching classes is part of my business. Demonstrating at conferences is part of my business. Building up my masterwork grill will be part of my future business for client or commission work. It's the type of work I want to go into, or that's what I want to be known for in 40 years from now with my private clients. The CNC portion with all the blacksmithing blanks on blacksmithingblanks.com is part of my business. And eventually, at some point, I'll be building out a fabrication company as well when I get a chance in my free time. That'll probably specialize in doing signage and all sorts of other custom fabricating, because there's a lot more jobs out there for fabricating. There's more expandable opportunities to expand the business and get other people to work with me and build those businesses than there is in just forge work alone. So, yeah. So there you go, in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. People getting their ears full tonight, huh?
They are. By the way, Heath Miller, I did not know this was a YouTube feature, but he just gifted 5 Christ-Centered Ironwork memberships. So we have new members, thanks to Heath. Keith Tonesing,
hey, cool.
Paul Fontanini, BTJ Mania, Kevin Zufelt, and Kenneth Newberry are all new members.
Hey, thank you very much. I have no clue what that means. We'll have to research what that feature is.
Yeah, so I believe he was able to pay for their memberships for a month, and then he chose who he gifted that to.
Very cool.
Like. So yeah, that's
I like that feature. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it showed like little presents by his name.
You said that was Heath Miller?
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much, Heath, for doing that. Blacksmithing community is the best. He's the best.
Let's see, Brad Reber, also thank you for your $20 super chat.
Very awesome. Just adjusting things a little bit here as I go. Sure, I like how rolling up that is.
Marianne Thomas, I kind of tinker here and there. I forge a few copper bowls sometimes, and I do some enameling and some jewelry making, and a lot of my actual spare time here of lately has been doing some film work. I've found an interest in doing some product videography, and so I've been kind of taking that up on the side. Thomas sent a $2 super chat. Our hand model says, sorry I'm late, had a friend over for dinner.
I see how it is. Friend, huh? So, while Thomas is here, I want to shout out Thomas real quick. For those of you who don't know, Thomas just recently had a wonderful little kid born to him. He can decide whether he wants to give out the details and specifics on that. I'll leave that up to him. But so he is a new dad again for the second time. Very awesome, I think so. And he has been absolutely instrumental in getting everybody's orders out while Jessica and I have been gone at conference. We've been gone for, what, 15 days almost, and we had to get back. And Thomas not only through his girl Shelby, his wife Shelby, having another kid, not only being born, right? He went through all of that, kept up on all the orders by himself, shipped everything, plasma cut stuff, kept stock up, and still maintained dang near next day turnaround times. So that guy worked his heart out for you all here on this channel, and I expect everyone to give him a round of applause just on his pure effort alone, and also a round of applause for his new little one. You know, again, Thomas has become instrumental in this shop, and yeah, couldn't do it without him, so thank you, Thomas. I expect everybody to give Thomas a huge shout out and thank you as well. They doing that, Jess? Are they behaving?
They are. Wayne Height says, when will Uncle Roy forge a crib?
Don't think that's in Uncle Roy's cards.
Be like a little iron prison.
A little iron prison?
I was just picturing the little bars.
I just see Shelby's face if I did that. Like, here, I got your kid a present. And it's a cage. It's an iron cage. But it's got scrolls. Might be a little less than enthusiastic. All right. Enough of me tweaking and playing with that. I got to get it hot again and mess with it a bit more. But you guys can see where we're going with it. How does it look?
Looks excellent. I like that a lot.
Look pretty good?
Yeah.
Good. Now we're going to do a little curvy-do with the center element
Curvy-do.
to add a little more panaz.
Thomas says his name is Atticus Dale Goodymoot, 6 pounds, 15 ounces, and 19 inches long. Very
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I've been waiting to basically say that about Thomas. He really went the extra mile to keep up with everything while we've been gone. So it was like every day. Of course, he got swamped with orders, which is amazing. We need those orders to keep on flowing for the business, keep us both afloat. And so he just got absolutely swamped with orders while we were gone and was able to keep up with all of them. So like nearly every day he came into like 10 orders sitting on him, and you know, for 15 days straight. So lots and lots of orders. So So thank you all, not only for purchasing and doing that, supporting Thomas and Jess and I in that endeavor, but yeah, thank you, Thomas. Greatly appreciate you.
Robert Lana says, Thomas sent me a free treadle hammer kit for my free gift in my order. Wink.
Yeah, free. Wink. Bill's in the mail. Oh.
By the way, when we get a chance, we should probably give away something. We've been going for over an hour.
Oh, good. I'm glad everybody's had such the attention span. Giving it a bit of curvature. I'm going to have to get that a little hotter yet to get what I want out of it.
Wayne Hines says a French Baroque crib would be awesome. I remember Roy talked a while ago. He's like, what do they call those things? Like those old-fashioned strollers.
What's that?
Remember the old-fashioned stroller? You talked about wanting to make one of those a while back.
Well, a long time ago, I wanted to make a big old-fashioned stroller for our kids. Yeah, I never got around to it. I was busy production smithing at that point, so I had no time to do anything custom for myself. No. All right. Let me get this. I want to get this end finished, and then we'll do our
sounds good.
Do our giveaway stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
That way I can focus on it. I can have it done. I can let it cool down. Hopefully you can see that.
Ooh, pretty. Get some curves. My experience. Channel name is My Experience. It says, I have a forge starting in Helena, Montana, used for mental health for our community, mainly for veterans. Do you have suggestions on how to get dedicated workers who are Christ-centered to lead on projects and ministry?
So specifically for just workers in general, as just a generalized concept, not in particular. So I'm going to try to give you some advice on this, the best way I know how. When it comes to trying to find someone who has your same belief system and values, okay, it can be very difficult. It can be difficult to do that in today's day and time. What I will say is you can source your church. Don't be surprised who you may or may not get to want to be part of that. Sometimes you'll get the younger element of the church. Can they see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure can.
Like the waviness?
I do. Yeah, that's nice.
Add a little curvy do up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'll finish that out. And then do a little bit of tweaking on the scrolls, and I can call that one, I can call that half of the equation done. Okay. So you might have young that want to get a part of that. You may have old that want to get a part of that. So I would try to source your local churches or your local church community. If you're part of a church system where there is multiple, say like, what's a good one, Jess? A particular church that has a lot of different churches amongst the same thing. Like an Assemblies of God or a Church of Christ or like an Open Bible or anything that has like multiple branch churches that are all part of a whole. You can usually get with that and then ask amongst those. And if you're trying to pull specifically Christian people into fellowship, to be able to do that and lead in the ministry there, that would be my suggestion to you to take and get that in. The other way of thinking about that as well is you want to look that if you're just looking for somebody who is good-hearted, willing to work, and wanting to build that up with you without the moniker of they have to be a Christian or that they're a practicing or believing Christian in that, that can also be a great way of ministry as well. because you're bringing along somebody who maybe is not following the Lord, and therefore through that process of seeing how you interact and seeing you being a real human being, a real person, they might also say, hey, you know what, this whole Christian thing ain't so bad, right? And maybe that will help them change their lives for the better as well. So there's a couple ways of going about that, but as far as I know, there's not a specific website, you know, like onlyfarmers.com or something, or onlychristians.com, where, you know, you can find a very specific faith-oriented person for work. And you have to be kind of careful with that too as well, because there are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, so, out there. Mm-hmm. They may talk the talk. When it comes down to walking the walk, they are not good for you and your business or your ministry after all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say it seems like this last year or two, we've had about, it seems like close to a dozen people who are starting blacksmithing groups or already running one specifically for veterans. So it would be great maybe if somebody had like a group, maybe a Facebook group like Forging for Vets or something, and if they designed a group where you could kind of share what they've learned, right? Like if there's a way of getting funding and setting up groups specifically for veteran forging, that would be pretty cool.
This will require some tweaking later, a bit more than what I want to play with in the live stream. Otherwise, I'll dull everybody to death. Everybody will be bored. Huh?
Put them to sleep.
Yeah. I do have to, there are going to be some additional steps I'm going to have to do to get this to look exactly the way I want it to look. But that's a lot of little fidgety tweaking and whatnot. And we've already been streaming for so long that I don't want to take too much of people's times. All right, I'm happy with the top for the most part. Well, yeah, well, it's hideous, but it's okay.
Oh, it looks good from here.
Can't see it from my house. So there you go. That's where we're going with it. Now we're going to balance the top out with the bottom. Mm-hmm. So I like this kind of bit of a scroll work. This is more like of an explosion pattern. The one I did for the FABA conference was more, I altered the size of the scroll. Where I did it, I made a big scroll and like a little small tight scroll and things, and it had more of like a peacock, like plumage look to it, which I really liked. And then my original one had more of an onion blossom shape. So all using the same amount of scrolls, the same length of scrolls, just rolling them up just a little bit different. And in the second camera here, I have Jessica's focus speaking turned on, and it's kind of green. That's kind of a neat look for it. So anyways, look pretty good?
Mm-hmm, it does.
What's everybody say?
Let's see. Green Tea Sippa says, that looks awesome, man. Bobby Weld says, looks nice.
Thank you.
Fingers says, like an octopus. Lauren Wimberly says, it's Frosty the Snowman's fart.
That's bad. All right, we should probably give some stuff away. Mm-hmm. Before any more Frosty the Snowman fart jokes come about. Okay, this is bugging me. I got to tweak this I got to tweak this one piece here. It's bugging the dickens out of me.
Tim O'Connor says Troy is scrolling along. Katana Guy says really nice. Cracker Jack says looks nice. David McGo says fast and fun. Huh? Joshua Rivas, I love that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Now you pay attention, Troy. You better pay attention. I want to see work like this from you. I'm going to see this at your event in April. I'll better. You've got from here till then to practice.
David Reednor, actually this piece is going to get shipped back to UMBA, is that correct?
Yep.
And then at their next spring conference, I think they said it's in February, they'll be auctioning it off.
Yep.
So yep, that's where this piece is going to go. Rad Reaver says, I really like the center accent wiggle. The wiggle.
He said what?
He likes the center accent wiggle.
He likes the center accent wiggle. Me too. I thought about doing that while I was at the FABA conference, and I was like, ooh, like I'll do that with the UMBA one. And then I've made up what I was doing with the scrolls this time around, so. All right. Should we give something away?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do we want to start off with some tongs
Sure.
from Blacksmith Supply?
Sure.
Let me go grab them.
All right.
Let me go get them for you, my dear.
Bruce Ryan, glad you were able to make it to a live stream.
So, Blacksmith Supply, John, you're awesome. Thank you. Got to meet him in person down at the FABA conference. So, it was great meeting you. And he has been a regular supporter of the channel and the live streams here. He supported us all last year, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And during our live streams with tongs, very similar to this pair of tongs that you guys seen. Go camera number 2, Jess.
Okay.
So he sent us a whole boatload of these. I believe these were 1/2-inch tongs, tongs, bolt jaws. Very nice tongs. So this year, let's open this up and see what size he gave us. You can go back to the main cam.
Okay.
So he gave us a bunch of stickers. I'm going to make sure the stickers go with it in the giveaway items. He gave us a bunch of, we can go to camera number 2. Mm-hmm. Gave us a bunch of Blacksmith Supply stickers, which is pretty cool. And we got a whole bunch of tongs. Wait, so I'll pull all these out here. He gave us a whole bunch. Now, I'm not going to lie, folks. I am very tempted. I've been very tempted to keep at least 2 pair of these. Oh, it's like, why am I always giving everything away? Like all the nice tools I get, it's like, oh yeah, I don't get to keep any of it for myself. It's always going in a box and being shipped to somebody else. So, as you can see, he came out absolutely in full force, gave us a ton of tongs. Now, I'm going to give a bunch of these away during the Great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway live stream. But tonight, I'm going to give away 2 pair of them. So I'm going to give 1 pair to one lucky individual, and I'm going to give another pair away to another lucky individual. Looks like he's given us some different sizes here. Let's see here. This size is, so I have a 3/8 pair of bolt jaw tongs to give away, and I have a 5/16 pair of bolt jaw tongs to give away. So might as well pull those out, huh?
Uh-huh.
People would probably want to see them, huh?
Yeah, imagine.
Would help people's clicky fingers go a little faster.
Mm-hmm. So you said 3/8 and 5/16?
Yep.
Okay.
So there you go. See that? Look how nice that is.
Oh yeah, got a nice gleam.
So these are tongs. This is 5/16 or 8 mil. It even has the metric equivalent on the side of it. For those of you who wish to look things up in metric, don't know why you do, but you do exist. You are out there.
Thomas sent a $2 super chat and said, "Old man noises and what's going on in April."
Old man noises. There we go. And so we have a nice pair of 3/8 tongs. They look very similar, but the sizes are very, very different. See it?
Yeah.
You see the size difference?
Yep. And
So there you go. So we're going to give away the 5/16 pair first, and then the larger 3/8. Sound good?
Okay.
So let me clear all the rest of these off here. So there are a bunch. These are a lot of these are going to be up for grabs, except for maybe 2 of them. I don't know. I might keep 2.
Finder's fee.
I'm not going to lie. I will tell you if I'm going to be thieving, so I will tell you. So they're very nice. They're not that expensive. I should just go out and buy a whole set of them.
So you can display them in future videos.
What's that?
It's so you can display them in future videos.
Yeah, John at Blacksmith Supply, he totally meant for me to keep some of these, didn't he? like 6, 7 of them. No? No, of course we'll be giving them away in our great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway live stream. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and give away the 5/16 pair. You ready, Jess?
I am.
Enough fluff.
Enough
So for
love.
those of you who don't know, I'm going to ring the anvil. When the anvil comes to a stop, Jessica's going to pick one name at random from the live comment section. As the live chats are going by, she's just going to pick somebody at random. No purchase necessary. All the details are down in the description down below.
Mm-hmm.
We ready?
Yes, ready.
Set, go. Who do we have, Jess?
All right, we have burnt mushroom blacksmithing with tongs, 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 please.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Burnt mushroom blacksmithing. Congratulations, you are the first winner of these tongs from Blacksmith Supply. These are the 5/16 pair. We'll get with us through the contact email in the description, and we will get these sent out to you right away. I do want to express this for those before we give away the next set. Complete with scratches. Oh, that's damaged. That one will have to stay in the shop. I cannot bring myself. I can't bring myself to giving that one away. I'll have to.
Can't send damaged wares.
It's all scratched up now. You break it, you buy it, right? I mean, that's the rule. All right. So I do want to put this disclaimer out there. We are not going to hunt you down around the internet. We're not going to email you 50 times to get a hold of you. We've been very kind in the past where people haven't checked their emails, or they found out that their email never sent and it's been like 2 months later and we've still honored ourselves by like sending out the free gift anyhow. It's a really bogus move on to do that to us, because we like to run a tight ship around here when it comes to the shipping and keeping our budget in order. And so without going too deep in the weeds, the way that all of that works, please, please, please do what we tell you. Go through the contact email in the description. We won't contact you in the comment section, and we're not going to go hunt you down. You need to go through that contact email. Don't go tagging me on Instagram somewhere and asking me questions. It's not going to happen. I might see your question and then never look at it again. So go through the contact email. You'll get Jessica through that contact email, and we will get your address. We'll get the necessary stuff to be able to ship it out to you pronto.
And you'll get a
basically
confirmation.
Monday morning.
You'll get a confirmation that I received your email.
Yes, and you'll get a confirmation. So if you've sent an email and you got zero confirmation within 24 hours, that means we didn't receive your email. You need to do your part to take and send it again. We're not going to chase you down the internet. We have had a few lackluster interactions like that where someone's like, well, oh yeah, no, I totally forgot about this. 2 months later, right? Oh, I totally forgot about this. I thought you guys got it, Or people asking, hey, where's my item? What item? Did you buy from us? What are you referring to? So don't say, hey, it's me, Bob. Well, cool story, Bob. We don't know you. We don't know what this is in relation to, and you've went to the spam folder. So please do your part.
Yep.
If you win. Okay? Was I clear enough on that?
Yeah, it slowed down. Their thumbs must have got tired.
Yeah, the thumbs got tired. They're waiting on this next one, huh? Like, oh, he's talking to us now. Dang it. All I want to do is win free stuff. Okay. Good? I'm going to be more strict about it come 2023. So I won't play around in 2023. You'll have 24 hours to get in touch. If you don't, oh well. You can play your small little fiddle off into the distance and cry by yourself, because we do a good job of trying to take and be as prompt as we can giving free stuff to you. The least you could do is put effort into contacting us the way that we've told you to. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a frustration, ain't it? You get a few people who get angry with you too. It's like, oh, I contacted you on Facebook Marketplace. Like, we're not even on Marketplace. I don't know who you contacted, but you're not going to get a pair of tongs that way, right? Like, there's a contact email for a reason.
That's right.
We good?
Yep, we are.
Good. All right, you've been told. You've been warned.
Been warned.
Let's give away this next pair of tongs, shall we?
All right. You have
People
all
are
had
like, wow,
plenty
Roy's
of chance.
salty. Huh?
You've all had plenty of chances to enter multiple times.
Yes. So now we're going to give away this 3/8" pair of tongs. Again, from Blacksmith Supply. Thank you, John, for sending these out to us and supporting the channel. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Who do we have, hon?
We have Adrian Bauer with tongs, please.
Adrian Bauer, congratulations. You got some tongs, please. Get with us. Contact email in the description. Congratulations. All right, I'm going to step on this and get this hot for a minute.
Yeah, good.
Don't want the fire to die.
There's a question from Carlos Creates. He says, what is the one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started blacksmithing?
Well, there's a lot of things. But if I had to narrow it down, if I had to boil it down to one thing, and I hope that everybody under the sound of my voice in this live stream will take this to heart if you're brand new. Blacksmithing, forging, good ironwork, however you want to slice it and dice it, is earned. It's earned. So it is not something that you wake up and you are just inherently good at. That is a complete lie and a complete farce. There's nobody who woke up and was a master blacksmith, ever. We all have our crusty brown burnt leaves that we make. We've all tried knives. We've all hammered out railroad spikes. We've all tried and failed making hammers. We've all failed at making tools that will split and break and mushroom, and will get better, and slowly but surely you get better and better at your craft and you start specializing in that craft. But there is zero, and I do mean zero, shortcuts to the top of this industry. And so that being said, that is what I wish, and this might roll into a bit of a rant here because I see it in the comments all the time. That is something I wish I would have known, had the foresight or the thought process of when I was a young man first getting into this. Because I first thought that, oh, well, of course the guy's good. He's got a power hammer. His power hammer is what makes him good. No, the 35 years of experience at putting time in at the anvil or at that power hammer or at that press is what makes his ironwork different and stand out and be above bar and be of high quality. He's earned it. He's earned it through blood, sweat, and tears. He's earned it. Time in at the anvil. When I first got started into it, I didn't see it that way. I thought, well, I should be a natural at this. I've done construction, so I should just be a natural at this. No, I was just as bad as any one of you out there. And I'm making that broad statement. That'll make me sound arrogant, but I'm pointing those fingers out towards you and pointing 4 of them back towards me. I was just in your spot, in your place. You see me making this fancy hook? This wasn't even it wasn't even a dream. Not even a twinkle in my eye yet. There's no way I could have ever undertook a process like this. Year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, even year 7 of me doing forging work. There's no way I could have undertook this process and make it look as good as I am right now or as easy as I'm doing it right now. That has been earned by an immense amount of time in at the anvil. Now, I specify in at the anvil because there are people out there that have been smithing for 45 years on and off in their garage for 2 hours once a weekend, every other weekend, okay? That is different than somebody who's spent 35 years or 20 years at the anvil, day in, day out, 12 to 14 hours a day. It's a completely different, you're on a different playing field. And the reason why you're at a different playing field is because it's time in at the anvil. And you can apply that to anything. That could be the power hammer. You think a power hammer is going to change your world? If you don't know how to draw out a bar by hand at the anvil effectively, efficiently, without harm to yourself, then you're not going to be any good on a power hammer. Just simply put. Power hammer is not just big mashy thing. It has its own feel to it. You've got guys, I know, professional smiths, master smiths that do all their work at hand and anvil, and they are terrible if you hook them up. I'm pointing over here. I have a power hammer over here. I have a treadle hammer here that we sell over our website, blacksmithingblades.com. I have a fly press over here. I have a hydraulic forging press over there. I have made and built different power hammers. I've worked on all shapes and sizes of power hammers. It does not make you a master at them. Somebody who's put 35 years in at a power hammer is going to know all those little things and those little tricks that you can do right in at the power hammer. And they're going to make it look like it's a breeze. Oh, well, you just take a big bar of steel and you just boom, 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 boom. You just knock it down and forge out a thing on the end and you're good. Easy peasy, right? 2-hour demonstration. You're like, got it. I'm going to go home with my tire hammer. I'm just going to rip that out like no problem. No, you're not. You're going to suck when you go home. It's going to go terribly for you. So you have to earn it. And this goes so much further beyond that. I'm not going to get too preachy on this. We live in an entitled society these days. And with that, there's that wanting of instant gratification. That's why TikTok is so dang popular, right? They want the punchline without any of the buildup to the joke, right? They want the punchline, ha-ha, in a half a second or less, right? And that's why that's so popular. We're seeking instant gratification. But blacksmithing is this old, slow craft that you have to earn your stripes at the anvil. And there's no shortcutting it. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're purple. You have to earn it at the anvil. There is no bypasses. There's no passing here. And I don't appreciate when other smiths make passes for people. I don't appreciate that. Let the ironwork speak for itself. Just because you're female, just because you're of a certain persuasion or whatever, you don't get a pass to the front of the line in this craft. You don't. You don't. Just because you're young and you think that you've got it all figured out and you've got 3 years in it and you own a 400-pound whatever Bradley hammer or something like that, that does not give you a pass in this craft. It don't. It doesn't put you at the front of the line. You own every tool that was ever made or manufactured in blacksmithing, but you only spend 1 hour a week out in your shop, does not give you a pass to the front end of blacksmithing. Time in at the anvil. Time in at the anvil. So rant over on that one. But I see it throughout the whole internet. I see it all over blacksmithing forums. I see it in person at blacksmithing clubs and groups at the Old Man Liar's Bench where, they had to go to their shop. They had to walk to their anvil uphill both ways from their forge, right? It's just like, whatever you did, they forged 10,000 more of those than you did. I like to call that the liar bench. You see all the old guys talking, what? Yeah, no, I did that 3 times as fast as what you're talking about. I just thought it into existence. You just hear it. It goes. It goes and goes. I look forward to one day joining that bench, by the way. just sitting around telling yarns about my glory days of smithing. Some of those guys have earned it. Some of those guys started 3 weeks ago. That's what you'll find in this craft. But you earn it. You earn it right here at the anvil. There's no passes to the front of the line for no one.
Koji Forge says Roy's on a roll tonight.
Well, I will take flack for that because it is popular. It is popular in groups, clubs, blacksmithing, just any field, right? We like to make exceptions to the rules. You know, we like to say, oh, well, if you got enough money, or, oh, you know, here's one that has plagued the blacksmithing craft for eons. If you have a British accent, instantly you know more than somebody, a smith, in America. That's wrong. There's sucky British blacksmiths out there too, as well. There's guys who just got started. Just because they've got a great voice and it's easy to listen to, does not mean they know jack squat about blacksmithing any more than you do here, you know, you just poor American you, okay? It's a fact. It's a fact. I'll take flack for that all day long. I don't care. I don't care. But the clubs have really got to take and get around that, you know. Similarly, not every YouTube blacksmith is blowing smoke out of their rear end either. A lot of us know what the hell we're talking about and have been doing it for decades. Decades. And we're here teaching the masses how to forge, how to smith. We're putting in the work. So blacksmithing clubs should back us up on YouTube, not turn the other way around. Period. It's a fact. Get with the times or get left behind, because that's what will happen. Just as an example, my small, and it's a small channel on YouTube size of things, just to give you a small example, we are coming up on 92,000 subscribers on this channel. That is more people following us here on YouTube than all blacksmithing organizations around the world combined in one spot. That's a crazy metric. Why should that be so? Why should that be so, right? It's because we are out here. We are the public. We are interacting and interfacing with the new smiths coming up. We are helping out the community as a whole, the blacksmithing community. Yes, there are smiths out there that they really don't know squat about forging, and they're teaching hazardous things and doing whatever. You will find that in any public forum, right, that you get. You'll have bad advice that'll come in. You find that at blacksmithing clubs. You'll have incorrect, inaccurate, and poor information come from blacksmithing clubs. So I'll take some flack on that, and I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I would like to see the blacksmithing community as a whole come together, let the work speak for itself like it should, and get bypass all of that extra nonsense that everybody likes to throw it on there, you know, and in the clickiness that happens in blacksmithing. I'm rolling too far, ain't I? I'm going down a deep hole.
You're all right.
Of ranting. So, but I'll put it out there like that, and some of you will be like, ooh, aren't you afraid, Roy? I'm not afraid of jack squat. Not afraid of jack squat when it comes to it. Speaking truth. Get offended at it, that's fine. You know, I'm calling out blacksmithing organizations around the world. I'm calling out anybody who feels that they should get a pass because of whatever. You know, that they've got extra cool blue hair, and so therefore they should be a better smith than they are. I'm calling it out that it's time in at the anvil that should matter. Time in here, and your work should prove it out. It should show for itself. If you're still turning out stuff, it's 45 years later, and you're still turning out stuff that is at like third grade level blacksmithing, well, you know, don't expect to be at the front of the line because you have 35 years in the craft. Not the way that it works. If we truly want to be an all-inclusive craft, right? We want to be all-inclusive. We don't want to exclude people, right? We want to, you know, we want to be welcoming, right? I like SOFA's motto, creative and friendly, right? I like what their original, what was originally put in their founding fathers, which is being creative and friendly, open, accepting, helping other people, usher new smiths into the field. If we're to do that, you have to accept all ends of the blacksmithing spectrum, and that includes people on YouTube. Right? Mm-hmm. All right, let's scroll this out here.
All right.
Because people were like, that's nonsense. This guy don't know what he's talking about. That's probably not even really his hook he's making. It's CGI.
Oh, is that what it is? You are just a robotic figment of the imagination.
I wish I could be a robotic figment of the imagination some days. Oh.
RTK 615 sent us $5 super chat and says, I respect your outlook. Before I picked up smithing, I was a luthier's apprentice and have been a professional carpenter since I was 21. Earn your keep.
Well, thank you very much for the super chat. And yes, earn your keep is right. That is the point. I wish I would have had this mentality. This is what's grown over time, is to that understanding that not everyone you talk to that's telling you things or says, I've been in this 45 years, right, actually knows a hill of beans about blacksmithing or knows a lot about their particular field of study. So, and likewise, just because someone's got 5 years in the craft doesn't make them null and void, right? Or that they don't have anything positive that they can share with the community as a whole. There's a lot that you can share. I've ran into many a folk where they think that the guys that have been doing it the longest, and I just mean the longest, not necessarily the best, but the longest, that they should somehow have the only voice in the craft of forging. And that is it's a flawed mentality that they can have. Because I know smiths that are not known. And I do mean well-known smiths, master smiths even, that are not well-known on the internet. In fact, few of them you've probably never heard of. Ever. And yet, their work would blow your mind. So just because you're master smith doesn't make you good at teaching either. That's a whole nother industry in of itself. There are guys that I've met that's had 5 years in the craft, and they are wonderful, patient teachers. They got 5 years in, and yeah, they're only teaching, beginner level or entry level stuff, but the way that they connect the world of blacksmithing for the people that are coming into it is from such a great perspective point, because they haven't built up a world of arrogance yet. I've been at it 97 years, so I know everything there is to know. Young whippersnapper. They haven't been there. They're right here, and they're doing the good work of what we should be doing, and they should be uplifted and celebrated. Do they know everything? No. Are they the Samuel Yellens of the world? No, they're not yet. But they may be someday. And then again, they may never be. They may have found their calling with teaching beginners, right? Because they just have a passion to bring more people into that craft, and they're happy forging bottle openers or little hooks for the rest of their life. And that's okay too. But you earn it at the anvil.
John Stobbs has an interesting story to share.
Yeah.
He said,
Love to hear it.
interestingly, my dad apprenticed as a machinist in 1946. It was a 5-year process with no promise of becoming a journeyman or master. His whole first year, he only used a hammer, a file, a hacksaw, a chisel, and measuring tools as he was learning steel. Then after 40 years, he ran a machine shop with over 100 machinists, 2 blacksmiths, and always half a dozen apprentices, and a steel mill of 12,000 steel workers. Dad knew steel.
That he did. And I'm sure there was still things he could have learned, right? In that time. Unfortunately, us humans, we don't get to live forever and keep applying that knowledge, about the time we really get going, right? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, you know me, hello, I'm your right foot, I don't work no more, you know what I mean, or whatever. It's like, really unfair. But, again, there's things I'm sure there's things he could have still learned. There's amazing things he could teach too, right? So we've got to get out of this mindset that you can just buy your way to the top, Or you can just know people, and by knowing people, now you're instantly the shoe-in. Just because you're someone's friend, now you're the authority subject. That happens a lot, unfortunately. You know, just because you're friends, or you go out and you hang out at the local bars together or whatever, now, you know, you are the leader of some blacksmithing organization and you're deciding what is good and what is bad ironwork. Got to get away from that. Got to get away from that. Let people prove their mettle.
That's right. Apillicus says, I actually got into blacksmithing because of my grandfather. He took up the hobby in his retirement, and I really enjoyed working alongside him.
Very cool.
Lauren Wimberly says, when I started in 1983, no one would talk to a kid trying to get into knife making. I decided that once I learned, I would teach and share, and I have never stopped.
Awesome. See? So there you go. There's someone who's been doing it longer than me. A lot longer. Longer than I've been born or alive. Sorry, telling your age there.
Lauren Ford says, I was just hoping to ride Roy's coattails. Dang it, there goes my plan.
You can ride my coattails all you like, but put in the work. You're going to have to hold on tight.
Robert Lana says, there's no substitute for time at the anvil.
No, there's not. You can watch as many YouTube videos as possible. That is great for education. Look, I'm on YouTube. I want you to watch all the YouTube videos. Watch mine 5 or 6 times. Why not? Sounds great. But at some point, you got to pull the trigger and get out there. You have to get into your own shop. You have to make that. You have to make the mistakes. You have to find the things that work and don't work for you in your shop. So, for instance, I am unapologetic about this one fact. I am absolutely terrible at tooling. It's not that I can't make nice tools. It's I have no fascination in making tooling. All of my tooling in my career up to this point has been made in an effort to support the ironwork that I am doing. So I don't really give a rat's butt how my tongs look. Couldn't care less. Really couldn't care less. What I care about is how this hook is going to look, though, sitting on somebody's walls. So, you know, a lot of my tooling is rough. It's not what you would, I would never sell it to anybody. Now, when I do make tooling for other smiths, like my really fancy hammers, they're like art show pieces. They're perfect in every way because I'm more focused on that. But what I made that hammer with, or what I made that really fancy bit of tooling with, those tools were absolutely looked like garbage. If I wasn't standing next to you, you might think that they are garbage, that they're just random scraps of steel. So that for me, right, that's not a huge effort for me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on crafting this perfectly beautiful tool. I'm going to spend a lot of time crafting perfectly beautiful sculptural ironwork, right? That's what I'm going to spend my time at doing. So you walk in other people's shops, same thing. You might find a ton of beautiful tools, but then they can't forge a leaf to save their life. But that, man, they can make one sweet hammer, right? You know, or some really nice looking tongs, but they couldn't make a leaf to save their life, right? And you'll find that, and there's historical precedence for that as well. It is very hard to just be good at everything, right? Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to be good at everything. We're not meant to.
Keith wants to know how his hot cut Hardy's holding up.
How?
Didn't you take it with you to Umba? The hot cut Hardy he made you?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not a Hardy.
Oh, sorry, did I use the wrong word? Hot cut.
A hot cut.
Hot cut, okay.
Yeah, his hot cut's holding up great.
Okay.
His hot cut Hardy, I couldn't tell you. I don't have it.
Okay, sorry.
I do not have his hot cut Hardy in my possession. I do not know what you refer to, sir.
Braden Clifton says, hey Roy, what is an easy way to make an even scroll?
So, the easiest way to get into making scrolls, to make even scrolls, is you need to prepare your material appropriately. So, it may just look like these are all just flat ribbons, but they're not. These are tapers. These are nice, big, long tapers. That really helps me into creating this spiral shape or this scroll, if you will. I went in really hard detail with the UMBA group about this. So, first part of making a good scroll is having a nice, even taper all the way down and smooth, even and smooth, all the way down into your finial, whatever that finial may be. That might be a rosette on the end, it might be a snub end scroll, it might be a half penny scroll, it could be all sorts of things, fishtail, it could be fluted, it could be whatever on the end of your scroll. Your finial could be whatever. But coming up to that, you should have one nice long, even taper to that. That is going to work with the physics of the material. Things that are light and flimsy are going to bend quicker than things that are thick and chunky, right? Mm-hmm. So what is a scroll? It bends tighter in the center, and it gets less and less as it goes out. That's step one to a good scroll, to making scrolls easy. Step two is proper heat management. You want to have a nice temperature gradient. You want it to be hottest in the center, or the part that needs to turn the quickest, and you want it to get progressively cooler to the parts that need to take and bend the least. If you do that, you can roll out a scroll very quickly and efficiently, and they can be very fun. Beyond that, the only way to making scrolls any easier is to take, the only way to make scrolls any easier is to make a scroll form, a jig of some kind, a fixture, to get things started. I'll grab one over here. You can just stay up at the main. Okay. Are you up at the main cam?
I am
or
now.
Or were you?
They were getting a close
Jessica
up.
wasn't even at the main cam. So, so you can see right here, right? You can make a scroll jig, and that will help you make a scroll. You can't make a good scroll jig, however, if you don't know how to make a good scroll. So you need to start with that first. And if you look at this on a large scale, if we can come down to the second cam, Jess. Mm-hmm. Are you there?
There we go.
All right, you should start paying attention to these.
All right.
I thought you said you
The
were on it.
Yes.
Huh?
My hands are getting cold. They're slow.
Well, hang in there. So as you can see in this, see how there's a nice long taper here? Mm-hmm. See that? Yes. So that is done on purpose. So this way we can bend a nice, long, big scroll. So I had a heat gradient on this. So at the very end here was the hottest. I got it the hottest, so I could roll it up tighter. And then there was a slow heat gradient that went out from there. That got cooler and cooler as we went. And that helps get this scroll form started, if you will. Now, once you have a good scroll form that you can clamp your work to and pull things around for big stuff, now that makes it a lot easier for you. Now you can make any size or number of scrolls that you want, and all you gotta do is put a bit of a chalk mark, and you can stop them all at the right spot, you know, things like that, and it works out really, really well.
Bar on Ford says, we got your back, Jess. We understand that we are more fun than he is. Michael Murphy says, Roy, what was the biggest hurdle you had to cross to become a professional blacksmith?
Well, I'm going to say it's not what you think. So, first hurdle that you're going to come across to become a professional blacksmith, okay, is, so first hurdle, I should say, that you're going to come across to become a professional blacksmith is going to be basically orders, getting in sales, visibility, basically, marketing, letting people know that, hey, I do this for a living and I need work, right? That's going to be your first hurdle that you have to get across. As far as the most difficult hurdle that I have found in my work to become a professional blacksmith is charging what I'm worth. Charging what I'm worth. Say that a third time. Charging what I'm worth. You have got to get around the mentality when you are a professional blacksmith that you are marketing to other blacksmiths or other cheapos. You're not marketing to people of your same class. Like it or not, classes still exist. We're just mum's word about it. Okay? We call them the upper 1%. We call them whatever. We get all these different terms. Oh, I'm just middle class, or oh, you know, I'm impoverished, or I'm whatever, right? We got different ways of saying things now, but there are still classes out there. It is what it is, okay? Not here to try to change the world on that. But I live in it, so I have to be honest with you. So to be honest, I get all the time on any video that I have made about charging for your work. Haven't I, honey? Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what price I could put on it. I could put $20 on it, and I will have somebody who will come in there and say, $20? I mean, that's too expensive. How could you charge that much for whatever, right? They think it's simple. However, that is the exact person I can't make a living from, nor can I feed my family on. That type of person, you kick out the booth and send them on down their way. Right? Mm-hmm. That's it. You threaten them with a branding iron so they go away. That is not your target market. My target market with my ironwork, when I choose to make my custom commission work, are people who have made more money than I'll ever probably see in my lifetime. That's my target audience for my ironwork. So you have to get around that stigma for yourself. So when you make something, you'll look at it, you're like, I mean, I spent 100 hours on this thing, but I wouldn't pay $50 for that thing. You're going to go broke. You shouldn't be a professional blacksmith. Mm-hmm. It is a very hard thing to get around, but you have to get around that and start figuring out what your time is worth. And you do that by reverse math. We have plenty of things. I have the rule of 33, right? It's the rule of thirds. I did a video on that a long time ago. I suggest you watch it. We have an entire playlist series on the business of blacksmithing for anybody who's trying to get in on that. But that is the hardest thing. And I have found that even with my newest item that I offer through our website, blacksmithingblanks.com, I have offered a treadle hammer kit. This treadle hammer kit with air assist is $700 US shipped. Mm-hmm. I've got a discount code going right now where you get 10% off and you get to send 10% to St. Jude, right? Mm-hmm. I've got that, right? And I still got people who will say that it's not worth it. It's not worth $700. When the next closest thing that you can buy manufactured and have delivered to your doorstep is $2,500. That's it. That's like literally your next closest option. Or you get to build something yourself, your own janky contraption that you would like to do, which I support. Make your own janky contraption. Don't copy mine, but make your own janky contraption. Save yourself a few pennies, okay? But I'm not targeting professional smiths, professional blacksmiths out there. I'm not targeting with this product. I'm targeting guys who don't have a ton of money, who work out of their garage and don't have a ton of space for a full-size power hammer or a gigantic fly press or, a whole host of other power tools and equipment. I am looking at a very specific target market group for this, so it's not going to be everybody's deal. That being said, is it too high? Is it too low? No and no. It's neither. It's what I need to charge in order to turn a profit to keep the lights on, to keep my family fed, to keep Thomas Goodymoot's family fed, to keep this whole thing rolling and this show rolling and going, right? In order for me to continue to buy the thousands and thousands of dollars of plate, literally, I went out not even 15 days ago and bought 3,400 pounds of plate steel. That's not cheap, right? Mm-hmm. In order for me to do that, it's a rolling cycle. So for some people who say, I could build that for $50 in my garage, they're out of their mind, right? There's other people, they might have all the scrap in the world and they could do that. Sure, right? They've got the know-how and stuff and they could build something similar. That's good. But with your own ironwork, you have to see that same thing. You'll get told your ironwork isn't good enough. It's not, it shouldn't be that expensive. I had one lady argue with a rose that I was selling. She just would not get off it. She wanted to take and sell me. She wanted to trade a really lame looking painting that she made for this rose that I had priced for like $300 that I had a ton of work into. I was like, nah, I'm not good. And then she told me, well, you'll know you're never going to get that price for that. Yeah, I took them, put them online, and I sold every last one of them. But see, that's the difference. She wasn't willing to pay that price. She told me my work wasn't worth it. I just found a much higher audience that had more disposable income that found my work attractive. And so that is the hardest thing in blacksmithing to take and get over, is get over your own fear about the price of your ironwork. You need to charge what you need for a living wage. Now, if your work just sucks and it's just junky and it's crusty, be honest with yourself. You might have to produce a lot of those and offer them at a cheaper price or find a way of getting quicker or more efficient at it. But that can go into a whole nother long-winded topic. But that's a great question, right? Like, I don't get asked those that often, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute, what is the hardest, you know what I mean? What's the hardest part about becoming a professional blacksmith? And that's it. Because you're going to have people who are going to tell you that your prices are too high. And then you're going to mark your prices down, which is a mistake. You're going to mark your prices down, and you're going to have people who have a lot of money who are not looking to spend $20 on their wife's 25th anniversary present, right? They were looking on spending $150. They bought based upon price, because price in their mind equals quality, and they walked right by your booth. You could have got $120 for that same item, but because you were listening to the wrong voices, now you only got $10. And the guy or gal probably griped at you to even have to pay you $10. How dare you? Acted like you were doing a favor, right? Mm-hmm. Like, fine, I'll take this off your hands if I must. I see you have a wife and kids here, so got to do the charitable work while I give you $5.50 and make you feel bad about it. So I have been to those shows, haven't we, hun?
Yes, we have.
Brutal, right? And it's very tough, so you have to get around that.
About the ones where people walked up, is this free?
Yeah, is this free? Oh, are you some sort of charitable organization? It's like, no, I've got 2 kids running around my blacksmith table right now that I'm trying to control while I'm sweating on a 90-degree day under a tent, hoping that you'll buy something and not waste my time standing at my table, right? Like, it happens. Sorry, I got to get all adjusted here.
Okay.
So, this camera battery is about to die on the main cam,
right.
So I'm going to go grab another battery preemptively. You can talk amongst yourselves.
Yes.
And I'll grab something else to give away.
We shall talk amongst ourselves. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving next week. And if anybody's just joining us now, we do have the date picked out for the Great Blacksmith Christmas Giveaway, and that is December 16th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're on Instagram, if you follow us at Christ-Centered Ironworks, we will do probably the 12 days of Christmas leading up to that. So there'll be probably a post a day on all the giveaway items. So you can be looking forward to that coming up soon in December. and it's going to be the Great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway is always huge, you know, and so if you have any blacksmithing friends, invite them to join the stream, and it's always a lot of fun. Oh, there we go. We did lose that camera. I will switch the camera too, so you all have something to look at. See, we did have several super chats come in.
Yeah,
RTK,
please, go ahead. Sorry, I haven't taken time.
RTK sent a $5 super chat, says, I started doing this to make a sax knife for my brother for Christmas. Doing well with what I got to work with. What should I try next to advance my skill?
So a sax knife, you said?
Yep.
Let's see here. I don't know. It sounds like he's into knife making, right? He's into knife work. There's nothing wrong with that. To advance your skills, I'm always going to go back that you need to take and study the fundamentals of forge work and practice them, practice them, practice them. So when you don't know what to make as far as an item, on an item by item basis, you should practice the fundamentals of forging. Forge work. That's your tapering, upsetting, so you're drawing out, upsetting, punching, slitting, drifting, that sort of work. That is what my suggestion would be to get better at smithing. Give me a second, gotta get things focused.
Joe McGilligravy, thank you, and Kathy for the $10 super chat.
Thank you so much for that. God bless you. Set that out of the way. Get it all focused back in. How we doing?
Good, much better.
Good?
Kelly Knox sent a $5 super chat and says, I'm saving up for one of your treadle hammers. I think it's brilliant, and I don't have to do the engineering.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hopefully it'll serve you well when you are able to get one there.
Tony Stanley, Roy, at what point did you jump into blacksmithing full-time and leave your previous job? Meaning, how successful was the blacksmithing at the point you knew it was a career for you?
So it wasn't successful at all. So I got in a car wreck, and that's what pushed me out of my regular career field. Because basically, long story short, I used to do heating and air conditioning work. I did blacksmithing as a hobby. I was selling things on the side, or I was selling things. We did a bunch of eBay flipping early on, right? Did a bunch of buying and reselling on eBay, and then I started selling some of my ironwork on there. Really basic stuff, wrapped, rasp-eyed tomahawks, and like you name it, candle holders and fire pokers and things like that, like really basic stuff, and little horseshoe nail hooks. That was a big one that we had. Went and did a class out Touchstone Center for Crafts. Felt a real strong calling on my heart to do it as a full time for a smith. Didn't listen. We had a new baby on the way, so I was like, well, I don't really want to quit my career field here, Lord. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing and do blacksmithing on the side. Got in a car wreck the next morning, and that took out 2 of my discs and my lower back, and it prevented me from bending, twisting, picking heavy things up, which I was doing as an HVAC installer. So 6 months with being on a cane and a walker, working to get better. I had a lot of help from friends and family in that amount of time. But during that 6 months, about the only thing I could do in the shop, and albeit at limited times that I could do it, was horseshoe nail hooks. And that was the start, wasn't it, honey? And we were living on about $600 to $800 a month. That's a long time ago. It's crazy to think about that, right? And so times were really tight, really shy. We basically lived on the food out of our garden. And yeah, that was it. That was the start. So as far as successful goes, that has been a slow grind over the last 12 years or so that we've been doing it. So there wasn't really a transitionary point where I could say that I was working down this one path. I was getting so popular on this other path called blacksmithing, and I'm like, you know what, that's a better choice for me in life. Now, if you have that as an opportunity to you, right? Let's say you have your health, you have a good paying job right now, but maybe it's not your thing. You don't want to be at that for life, but you really want to do the blacksmithing thing. You need to hustle all other hours that you're not at your day job working on building that business up. Buy your tools with your day job's money, right? Buy your tools, get stocked up, get your clients under your wings, and then before you know it, you'll be so busy at home and on the weekends that you'll be like, I don't really have to come in today. And before you know it, that'll turn into 2 days that you really don't have to come in. And before you know it, you'll be like, why am I going back into work? They don't need me, and I don't really want to be there, and I'm making my income over here now. And then that is the smoothest way that you can possibly transfer as a blacksmith, is to build that up. But it takes a constant hustle and grind. It's not like people think that, oh, be your own boss. Be your own boss means you get to take and work 16 to 17 hours a day. That's what that means. It is not like pop culture where, you believe, oh, if I'm my own boss, I'll just be able to go live on the beach and drink, martinis all the time, right? That's not how that works. For every hour that Thomas puts in the shop, I put in about 3 to make sure I have enough work coming in and things to do and make sure that there's, right? Make sure the company's growing in the right ways. So, yeah, there's a lot of work there. My business doesn't sleep. I don't either. This sounds bad, don't it? But it's true. We work about, anywhere from about 70 to 80 hours a week. Yep. And that's just straight work time. That doesn't even mention all the times where, I've sat down to use the commode and I'm answering an email because I have to. Because somebody's got something, or something didn't work out with whatever order, or there's a delay in shipping, or we're out camping and we're still posting Instagram and Reels and doing all these other things, right? Finding times to still squeeze in a bit of business every single day, 7 days a week. So it's just part of owning a business and running one. So if you feel like that's up to you and you would like that kind of challenge in your life, I recommend it to anybody. But it's not for the faint of heart. You're not just going to, every day I work for myself, I'm just going to be like, it's going to be retired, and I'll just be able to go on fishing trips all the time and hang out with my buddies and friends, and my wife is just going to enjoy seeing me all the time. That's not true, huh?
No.
Jessica had a hard struggle when I did injure my back that way. Up until that point, I worked about 70, 80 hours a week doing heating and air conditioning work. And so I wasn't hardly around, was I, hon?
No. Mm-mm.
And so she had a big adjustment. She was used to having the house to herself. And then all of a sudden, here's me all the time. Can you imagine?
Let's see, what is it? For like 11 years solid now.
Can you imagine the joy on her face? Are you at camera 2 or no?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I just switched.
Camera 2. Can you imagine the excitement on her face when I told her that we were going to be the bestest of buds now forever? Her time where she could read a good book and soak in the bathtub is over, because I'm going to be literally in her space 24 hours a day, 365.
I was asking for something to do. I did try to apply for a few jobs. So.
Little did you know, the wee baby man was going to come back to roost.
David Reednor says, speaking of camping, I was hoping to see more blacksmithing cooking videos.
Yeah, I need to do some more of those when we get a chance, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually took all of our camping gear with us to UMBA and so to Florida and Wisconsin, and then we didn't end up camping at all. It was our setup, we have a large canvas bell tent, and we decided it was too much work to try to drag that out and all of our stuff for a one-night camp as we're traveling up the states. So.
Well, we figured out that that wasn't going to be practical, right?
No, not with
like,
when it gets dates.
Like trying to, it didn't help that I had like 250, 300 pounds of tools in the way too as well. There we go. Still have to work on that a little bit more. I'm really unhappy with those scrolls. Gonna have to tweak them, but don't know how many people want to watch that for the rest of the night. So yeah, so we found out that canvas bell tent's not the fastest thing to set up when you only have like 12-hour turnaround times before you're having to leave to the next event. So yeah, so we didn't camp. But yes, I would love to get back to doing some more camping stuff. Great thing about our bell tent is that it can be heated with a stove, so it's a hot tent, so we can do a full 4 seasons camping in it. Although summer's a bit too spicy in it, we like winter, fall, and springtime camping, don't we, hun?
Yep.
All right, we'll continue to tweak things until I get them looking like I want them to look.
Stephen White says, how does hammering mokume compare to moving soft iron?
Completely different effect and feeling. So mokume, it's soft, but it's also, because of the nickel in it, a lot of times the nickel in it, or depending on what it's comprised of, not all mokume is made with nickel, that nickel can be more solid. So not as soft as you would think. As far as the way it works, hot steel, obviously once hot steel cools off, now you're kind of into a bit of a problem, aren't you? Because, you know, when your steel cools off, well, it's cold. And so then it doesn't like to move as naturally or as nice, right? Now I know what's wrong. Roy, I just figured out, busy talking, just figured out why that looks wrong. I'm working on the wrong scroll.
Oh.
I was trying to make this scroll match this one. I'm like, why are those not lining up? And it's because this scroll needs to be like this one, not like that one. Oh, makes sense.
That's right, Daniel. Summer to us is above 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
What's that?
He says summer to Roy is above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. LOL.
Yes, summer to me is above 60 degrees Fahrenheit, so I do not like it. Do not like it. Everybody's like, oh, it's pleasant out. It's 79. I'm like, I'm sweating.
Chris Kelly, yeah, we have a camp heater. Because we were running short on time today, we did not go dig it out of the camping gear. We loaded it into the camping gear for our travels.
I'll be back, Jess.
All right. Let's see. Keith Tonesing says, I am teaching my oldest how to bladesmith as a way to deal with being bullied at school. My 7-year-old wants to start too. How young is too young to start smithing? I would say, yeah, I mean, I've got some pictures of our youngest. I think he was 3, and, you know, he's swinging a little hammer, and Daddy was holding the metal and turning it for him. And so 7's old enough, I would say, with supervision. And the project doesn't necessarily have to be hot metal. You could start with something cold like copper. It could be annealed, you know, like a copper bowl or something, or copper jewelry. It could be textured, stamped, things like that. Our kids really like making little trinket dishes. They have a lot of fun with that. See, burnt mushroom blacksmithing. Any advice on how to help my wife understand about growing a business? I have a part-time day job to supplement bills, and it works for us. Budget, LOL, but she is not down on 12-hour days. Yeah, there's a lot of time in growing a business, and probably I would say if, you know, depending on what she does during the dame time, if you're able to give her a portion of the business to work on, to where it's like a joint thing you're working on together, having unison there would probably help, and probably help her understand too about what's involved. So in our scenario, Roy does the forging, and then I do most of the computer work. He's taken over more of the task now, but originally, he did most of the forge work, and then I did the photography, and I made the listings. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I do a few things, but it's tinkering around. And so, yeah, I did the listings. I did social media posting. I helped with shipping, customer communications, stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'd say probably having your wife get involved would be, find what areas she might be interested in helping with and start with that.
So, so to talk a bit more about business, I can get on to that. Do we have time for a bit more on that?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So on the whole, getting your wife on board, right? So you got to understand, you guys are a team, and so you got to talk about those things. A lot of times it's the fear, right, of the unknown, right? Like, will we be able to make it with that? Will we be able to afford things, right? There's a lot that goes into it. When I talk about working, 12, 14-hour days, okay, on the business, that is certainly not necessarily the norm, okay? It's what I am willing to do, right? I have a certain goal in mind. I have a certain place I want to be. I have a certain amount of money that I have to make in order to keep the lights on. And so that requires a certain amount of time investment. And I have to spend time working on those things. And sometimes that's inconvenient, right? Sometimes it's not in the, sometimes that's in the wee hours of the evening when you'd really rather not. Other times it's not. There's a lot of mornings we get up late, huh? Mm-hmm. And we don't start our day till 10, 11. But there's days where I work until 3 a.m. too. So, right? It varies. It varies for us, okay? What that does, though, for you, as a benefit, if you will, if I can put a beneficial spin on it, is it makes you kind of the captain. We can go back to the main cam.
All right.
It makes you kind of the captain of your own destiny in a way, okay? So that means you can go out to dinner, assuming you have enough money to do so. You can go out to dinner, but you might have to take a call while you're at dinner. But you got to be okay with that. You have to live with that. That you have to set that amongst your own boundary lines, right? You may have to take a call, an important call. A client gets off work at a certain time of the day, and you need to be there because that client is going to want to take and talk to you about a $5,000 rail you're about to install, right? So you may just have to take that call while you're out to dinner. Now you can just proceed with dinner as usual after you take that call. You may have to answer an email at an inopportune time. It's part of it, right? It's part of it. So that's where I say that the work never stops, so to speak. It doesn't stop. The business doesn't stop. It doesn't close down, right? But we do have our off time, don't we? Mm-hmm. We have plenty of off time. We get to choose what we want to do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We get to do that. We have been we have been down at family and relation for Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, and we were able to make that trip without having to ask, Mother, may I, could we leave and go on vacation for these, right? But we did have to bring a computer along. We did have to keep answering clients, right?
Yep.
We did have to keep submitting quotes and calling up the scrapyard and seeing if they had the right materials and doing quote work and things like that. Did that mean we did that for the entire time? No. That's unhealthy. You wouldn't want to do that. But we do have to find ways of fitting that business in constantly around the rest of our life goals. So it gives you a good amount of freedom as long as you're willing to operate outside what society considers as normal, right? Normal behavior, where you wake up, you put your pants on the same way every day, You go to the kitchen, you grab the coffee cup the same way you do every day. You drive the same exact drive the same exact route to work. You check in at the exact same desk. You say the same lame joke to Jenny at the front that you always do. You get in your truck, you leave, you go do your thing, and then you come back by 5, 6 p.m. whenever your shift ends, and then you sit on the couch and you crack you a cold one and you click on the TV and you watch whatever for the day, and then you wash, rinse, repeat, and that's what you do every day of your life except on the weekends, right? Mm-hmm. As long as you're willing to live outside of that, you can run a business on your own. But it does, the biggest floundering fault of most people is they think that my boss is a jerk, so I would like to be a boss. And then you realize that you also are a jerk.
Responsibility.
You realize that you also are a jerk, and you don't like you. And you'd much rather sleep in for the day. But hey, no, you can't do that, right? You have other stuff to do. Today, I had to run all over, God's green earth. Some of that was my own fault. I just purchased in a trailer that's going to help with material handling. I've been saving up for quite a while, but I've been finally able to take and get a for-real trailer. I've been working off a pretty janky trailer for a long time, and it has cost me money to have the janky trailer. How could it cost me money, you might ask? Well, not being able to buy big enough plates of steel or enough of them when I have to travel 3.5 hours one way to go get my plates of steel, right? So for me, having a nicer trailer that's able to have more capacity equals me being able to save more money on my steel purchases. Well, I had to go to the DMV today. I had to buy extra things for the trailer. I had to go do all that running, and now I'm here demonstrating to you all at 9 p.m. at night. 10. Running my business. This is what this is, right? This is still a business. At the end of the day, you guys are watching me forge. Hopefully you're getting education. This might inspire a few of you when a blacksmith group or school or something like that has me out someday to teach. It might actually put you in the roster, which then pays my bills to take and come out and do the demonstration or do the show, yada, yada. It all works together. So here it is, 10 p.m. I'm doing what I love. I love to teach. I love to run my mouth. Love to hear myself talk clearly, right? Mm-hmm. And we're doing this thing called blacksmithing. And I'm assuming everybody's having a decent time. Mm-hmm. Right?
I would say instead of God's green earth, God's white earth up here.
God's white earth up here.
Yes.
Good enough for now. I'm going to have to do some more tweaking on it, but I'm ready to roll this hook and give some stuff away here.
Stephen White, the DMV up here is not bad at all. Like, no waiting time at all.
I see.
Benefit of being in a rural area.
What do you think, hon?
I like it. I like it a lot. Gorgeous scrolls.
Pretty cool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real nice.
All right, I'll set that in there. So now we're ready to roll a hook, and then I'll do all the little fine finesse tweaky bits and share it out on Instagram later on. Once I have everything finished up sometime tomorrow. So see, tomorrow I'll be working. It's a Saturday. Roy's not out just kicking up my heels. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Drinking a cup of coffee. I'm going to be working tomorrow. While most of you are relaxing or going on your little boat ride or skiing or sledding or whatever, I'll be working, but I'm okay with that. And then I'll take time off, and I might spend 4 or 5 hours just doing fun stuff. Midday, huh? Mm-hmm. And then come back and work till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night if I feel like it. So it has its ups and downs. Mm-hmm. I hope I've been giving nuggets of wisdom here. I hope that's the way it's been took.
Yeah.
But
PJ says, do you give free estimates? How do you budget your time when doing so?
Good question. That'll be a long one. As far as free estimates, yes, depends on what it is. If you ask me to draw something or draft something for you, you're going to be paying me money. $100 an hour. That's what I charge. It's my shop rate. You've taken me out of the shop, I could have been doing other things with my time. If you ask me to say, hey, I'm looking for a driveway gate that's 16 feet, 16 foot long, about 8 foot high, I would like you to fancy it up with some scrolls. What do you think a quote would look like on that? I can give them a pretty basic quote and estimate just based upon the size and the amount of steel that would probably be in. And that will be an estimate. That's not a quote. It's just an estimate. And then as we refine the design together, we can refine and go further down the road. And then that's how I adjust it from there. When it comes to design work, you'll have people waste your time. They're like, hey, I want to know how I put a frog on the back of a lizard eating an iguana, while straddling a bear. Go ahead and draw all that up for me. Give me a quote on that. I'll decide if I like it. Spend all this time doodling, doing whatever. And they're like, well, nah, I've decided to go a different route. You spent 4 hours. They gave you nothing for that amount of time because they weren't serious. You'll have people who time waste you like that. Or you end up giving them a quote and they're nowhere in the ballpark. So if somebody asks, Roy, I need to take and make a 3-story tall spiral staircase. How much is that going to cost me? They might be thinking $250,000, or they could be thinking $250. You don't know who you're dealing with because the email came in, right? Mm-hmm. Don't go spending 9 hours thinking you're going to get $250,000 for this thing and waste a bunch of time. You say, well, other jobs, I've done similar. It's going to cost you $180,000. And then it'll be like, and if they won't even go with your baseline price of what you think it may or may not take, you just saved yourself a whole lot of drawing work. You just saved yourself a whole lot of noodle scratching for nothing. Mm-hmm. Right, hon?
Yep.
We've had that. We've had that before where I stressed out about it, getting every detail right. And they're like, oh, well, it's nice, but I think we're going to go a different route. Haven't I? Mm-hmm. Like full on mode where I was just like about to break down mentally because I'm like so stressed worrying that I was going to get this job right and I was going to make it and this is going to pay our bills for like 3 months solid and it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be great. Oh, what should I charge? Oh man, it's kind of expensive. I think I'll try to whittle out a little bit extra money here, there, everything else and try to give them a discount. And then they leave and they go get it from somewhere else. They're like, I mean, I could just get it from Home Depot. Mm-hmm. So we've heard it all when it comes to that. So do not spend time designing unless someone's paying you money. If they're paying you money, then you can spend your time designing. So whatever your shop rate is an hour. Mine has worked up to $100 an hour and a bit north of that when I apply myself to specific jobs now. But when it comes down to when I was first at it, I was charging, I think it was $25 to $50 an hour, I think it was, mm-hmm. when I first got into it. And so if somebody's wanting you to design something, that's what you charge. Mm-hmm. So, well, it's going to take me about 4 hours of design time at this rate an hour if you really want me to quote this to get an accurate quote and write you a contract. Mm-hmm. But that's deeper down the road than finding out whether they're wasting your time or not. You do have to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Possum Sausage says, I don't mind building to a customer's specs, but I don't like when customers want me to design. I've been burned too many times on leather work by trying to design stuff, a few ideas from a customer.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to design something for a customer because it's you're shooting in the dark. It's like somebody telling you, make me happy, with no context. Mm-hmm. No one's going to be able to do that. Therefore, i.e., you will not be able to make your customer happy because there is no context to make them happy. What reason do they have to be happy? What do they like? What is the style of their home? How much money do they have? Doesn't even matter the styling. How much money do they have? Because they may like what you've drawn, but as soon as you give them a price, they're going to be like, Are you kidding me? I got a quote from this guy over here. Right? I got this quote from this guy over here. He said he'd do it for 25 bucks. Right? And why are you standing over here wasting my time?
Yep.
For 150 bucks a minute. Right? No, those happen. You can't please everyone. And again, if you have no context clues a lot of times when it comes to customers as to know how to please them. If they're like, oh, just, design me something. No. That won't be happening.
Michael Murphy says, I had a piece on Etsy, but the potential customer wanted a modification. So I made the custom requested piece, but now the buyer is non-responsive. So you said, in the first sentence, you said potential buyer. So I'm guessing that they didn't actually have a purchase from you. They are just wanting something done differently, and then you made it without a firm commitment with any money exchanged.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. Sorry you got burned on that. Take that as a learning curve, a learning experience. That's going to be good enough for that. Take that as a learning experience on what not to do, and apply that to your next interaction like that. You don't have to get sore or bent about it, but just keep that in mind that that's probably going to happen to you a lot if you make an item for a potential customer and you have not gotten a signed contract from that person. They are not contractually obligated to you at all. So signed contract isn't sometimes a contract. It's more of a hey, I want to buy this, and they've given you money. That's good enough as a signed contract on small items when it comes to Etsy. If they haven't made that much of a commitment to you yet, don't make a commitment to them making things for them. It's going to always end poorly because people are fickle. They may decide they like that, but then they're talking to some random dude or random chick on the internet, and now they decide they don't want that. They want something else entirely. So unless they've given you money, don't make them nothing. I've had customers be like, hey, I would love to see that to look like that. I'm like, well, you can pay me, and I'll make you one that looks like that. There you go. What do you think?
I like it. It's pretty. Got a nice design. Too bad we don't have all three of them you've made now, where we could do a side-by-side photo. That'd be cool.
Yeah, would be neat. Pretty simple hook, huh?
I know, I wouldn't call it simple. Possum Sausage says, are the pieces of this build all forge welded together, riveted together, or just held by the collar?
All forge welded. All of this build has been forge welded together. All right, that'll require just a tiny little bit of tweaking work to make me happy, but I can call that one done.
Pelicus says, can I get a close-up of the center?
Of the center?
Yeah, you'd have to refocus it, huh? Bringing in close. There you go, that works pretty good. Slightly fuzzy. Ooh. There we go, right about there. Extra close. Wayne Heights says, snazzy hook. Dave says, beautiful hook. Xavier says it's a hook on steroids.
Look good?
It does.
Trying to hold it where it stays in the same focal plane.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So that's what it looks like on back?
Yeah, I don't think you have much more finickiness to go there. I think you got the scrolls pretty good from my eyeballs anyway.
Yeah, they're still ugly. I need to adjust them.
Let's see, Eric says, great looking hook, Roy. Possum sausage, I saw a hook like that at Walmart for $6.99. I'll give you $7.50 because I saw you forge it.
$750? You're swell. You are swell. I mean, I wasn't going to charge that much, but now that you mentioned it, I'll do that for $750. See if I can get that still focused right. Where are you going? Do, 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 do. I think that's good. Good. Got it focused back. Not a bad hook, eh?
Yeah.
Not too bad. Could be worse.
Poggi Forge
Could be
says,
a lot better.
Roy, do you mind others trying this design?
Nope, go right ahead. Knock yourself out.
Shane Lalonde says, Father Christmas mustache, it looks like.
Oh. So when it comes to attempting this design, okay, I am not, I guarantee you, I am not the first smith to ever attempt a fancy hook like this or to make a fancy hook like this. They've been made for centuries, right? This is my application of scrolls and the way that I wanted to do it, artistically make things. You can make yours longer, you can make more scrolls, you can make less scrolls. You can make different styles of finials on the ends of those scrolls. You can make this hook design completely your own by having fun and just having imagination and creativity. What I do appreciate on all of my work, if you are inspired by my work and you want to make something like what I've made artistically, just give some credit. Give a shout out, right? Give a shout out of who you learned it from, whether it be from me or somebody else saying, hey, you know, I watched this, I was really inspired by the hook I saw so-and-so. Not some random guy on the internet. Say the name, Roy over at Christ Center Ironworks, or John Switzer, Black Bear Forge, or Yamez, or whoever, right? Tabor Jamin, whoever you find your great inspiration from, and that inspired me to want to make this. It brings a lot of honor to smiths that are spending their time teaching you, right? Or demonstrating these things. It brings a lot of honor to us, and it humbles us to be included and to be mentioned because it's worth something. It's worth something to me personally. I feel personally connected to people's work when they mention, hey, I found this. Where I don't get personally connected and I get a bit saddened by is when someone has taken something that I've clearly done before and they don't give any attribution. Oh, I saw some random guy on the internet do this, figured I'd take a crack at it. Not just some random guy on the internet did that, right? So give proper attribution that way and then knock yourself out and have fun. I am really inspired by Cyril Kolnick's work. I'm inspired by Peter Ross. I'm inspired by Kim Thomas. I'm inspired by so many other great, Tom Latine. I'm inspired by a lot of different smiths, and they have all had an influence in one way or another on my designs and the way that I work in the shop. At some point in time in the last 15 years or so, I've been doing this, and so they've all had some little hand in play. I've picked up this little tip here, and I picked up that little technique there, and I've done this little thing here. And if I've done something that's very specifically, like at the beginning of the stream, I talked about the sawtooth hanger class that I did with Tom Latine, right? That's me paying homage to a master smith that taught me something, right? That I learned some different techniques and ways of doing things, right? And inspired me to make a much nicer hook than regular, right? So do the same on your own. Wherever you pick it up from, say, hey, I got inspired by so-and-so. They made this. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to make one too. And have at. That's what blacksmithing is all about. Mm-hmm. Imitation is okay when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. I actually had a guy get upset at me because I actually had a commenter get upset at me because they thought that I was taking somebody else's credit for something they came up with. I believe this was John Switzer as they were saying that I was taking something that John Switzer came up with, even though in the video John Switzer had said that he got inspired by a video I had previously put out on the subject. So yeah,
ring around the rosy.
You know, it went full tilt right around the rosy. It's like, look at the date stamp on the videos, right? You know, so, and John Switzer and me here at Christ Center Ironworks, or anybody you see on the internet, we are just regurgitating old information that has probably been around since the hills were alive, right? So, you know, we're taking our knowledge, things we've seen, stuff we've we've collectivized across all the years of experience we have, and we're bringing it to the table in our own kind of way, and we invite you to do the same. So do the same with your own work.
Peggy asked, what is the latest date to order blanks from your website to get them before Christmas, shipped to Wisconsin?
So I don't know about latest date. Right now we've been keeping up with almost next day shipping. So except on the weekends. They don't pick up here on the weekends or holidays. So there's a big ripple in that on holidays and weekends. So, but our standard processing time right now is between 1 and 3 business days for us to process it, and we ship out most of the time, depending on the size of the order, we ship with like 3-day shipping. So for Wisconsin, it'll probably be like 2-day shipping. So
now I saw the USPS flyer today for priority mail, and I think it said for priority mail to ship by the 19th. So I mean, that's gonna be, I would back that up a few days for sure, at least. Just because of the high flow volume that the USPS gets, sometimes they get behind. So probably probably December 14th would be, you know, a safe bet to get your order in by, if you're trying to receive it by Christmas.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on the USPS or FedEx or UPS to be accurate on their turnaround time. So, you know, don't push it to the wire. In other words, I mean, we will ship it as soon as humanly possible when it comes through. When we get orders, we're shipping them out as soon as humanly possible. That's what we're trying to do, because we know a lot of you are trying to make projects for your family, huh?
That's right.
Because a lot of you are trying to make projects for your families. You're trying to make projects for Christmas shows and Christmas bazaars and, you know, things like that. And who wants to wait 2 weeks when they got a show next Saturday? So we have been trying to push and keep those things running full tilt. In fact, I shipped out 5 different orders today alone that just came in today. So, yeah. And that's why we're partly so late to the stream. So, and if there's more orders, I'll probably be doing shipping in the morning too. So to try to catch up for the pickup, USPS pickup. All right, great questions.
Yes.
Let's give some stuff away.
Okay.
Shall we?
Do that.
I'm going to give away Jess, our easiest spatula and ladle blink ever sets.
I pressed it. Hang on. It's blinking FTB. What did I do? Okay, there. You're back. My pen accidentally went to fade to black. That was the wrong button.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We do not want to fade Roy to black.
All right, camera 2.
Okay.
So we're going to give away our easiest spatula and ladle blink ever sets. So I'm going to give away 2 of these.
Okay.
Right? 1 each. So you got a spatula. It's already got the handle attached. These are great grilling instruments. You can also make them nice for just, you know, indoors in the house. They do require some forging to give this some shape and dimension in the handle. And then, you know, you might want to shape out your spatula end however you'd like. And it also have a complementary ladle. These are great for like camp cook sets, things like that. Yeah, use them however you like, basically. Or another thing, you can make a water dipper and a coal shovel out of it if you wanted to.
That would be different. Yeah.
That's another option that you might be able to do out of these if you're not kitchen inclined. So we're going to go ahead and give away 1 set of this, and we're going to give away another set afterwards. We ready? Let's go for that on these.
All right.
So when I stop ringing my hammer, we're going to pull 1 name at random from the live comment section. Ready?
Okay. Yep.
And 3, 2, 1. Who do we have?
We have Peggy Coach with spatula and ladle, please.
Hey, Peggy Coach. Congratulations. Spatula and ladle coming your way. Get through us through the contact email in the description, and we will get that sent out to you pronto. Shing, shing.
My phone's making noises.
It's making noises. Etsy's so fun when you make a sale,
Yeah.
isn't it? All right, so now we're going to give away one more spatula and ladle set. Are we at the main cam?
Yep.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Who do we have?
We have Cat Van Forge with comment.
Cat Van Forge, comment.
Yep.
Well, Cat Van Forge, congratulations. You are the winner of a spatula and ladle set here. Get with us through the contact email in the description. Get that out to you.
And if anybody wants to pick up some blanks and you didn't win, you can do so at blacksmithingblanks.com.
.com.
Thomas?
Where's
we need
Thomas when we need him?
We need to record you saying that so we can add it to that screen.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give away one more pair of these tongs, hun,
Okay.
tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems right,
Don't
you know,
forget
before
about
we
the
do
forge
the...
too.
Huh?
I said don't forget about the forge.
Oh, yeah, no, we're going to give away the forge, but, you know, we got to keep people around.
Gotta keep them around.
Got to keep them around. Got to get that watch time. All right. We got camera number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to give away another pair of 3/8" tongs. These are bolt jaw tongs sent to us by Blacksmith Supply. We're going to go ahead and give a set of these away. So thank you, John, over at Blacksmith Supply, for sending these and to support the streams and the channel. All right. Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
By the way, make sure to support him as well for supporting the channel.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get some of these tongs and you don't win, go over there and show them some love. They're pretty cheap, you know, cheap as in economical, but really high quality. So I can recommend.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we ready?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and draw for the tongs now. We can go back at the main cam.
All right.
I got to relearn her all over again. You're almost there.
Yep,
You're getting
almost.
there. All right, and 3, 2, 1. Who do we have?
K. Derek Goodwin with tongs, please.
Who is it?
K. Derek Goodwin.
K. Derek Goodwin. Congratulations, you're the winner of a pair of these 3/8" tongs. Congratulations. Get with us through the contact email in the description. And by the way, if anybody's wondering where they're made in Pakistan, apparently. There's a little label on there. So, pretty good pair of tongs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there we have it. There we have it.
Doing pretty decent. We got 105 viewers currently.
105 viewers. All right, they're picking up. They're ready for that. They're ready for that gas forge, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. But before we do that, while we have you, Jessica, is there any upcoming events we would like to take and tell people about?
There is. There is upcoming events that we would love to tell you all about.
What's that?
Yes, there is. Delay, I was clicking. Yes, we have coming up the Great Blacksmith Christmas Giveaway. That will be taking place on Friday, December 16th of this year from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be an extended live stream. Normally we stick to 2 hours. That one will be 3 hours or more, roughly. I was going to say, tonight's
We
3
stick
hours,
to
but
2 hours.
Yeah.
So basically it'll be a 6-hour stream. So
Oh, yeah.
grab your eggnog and just get all comfy.
Roy will
It's
turn
going to be
into
a while.
You'll turn into a pumpkin at midnight or something, or poof, you'll turn into Santa, like your beard will turn pure white, and
I will drink a lot of coffee.
reindeer will walk
Might get
across.
pelted with snowballs again this
Might.
year, huh?
That'd be harder. I'd have to plan in advance, go outside to make the snowballs.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, so we have the Great Blacksmith Christmas Giveaway live stream. That'll be upcoming.
Yep.
Yep.
And really, that's the main event we have wrapping up 2022.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
don't have
So it's going to be
anything else
pretty
planned.
awesome. I plan on giving away a lot of good stuff in that stream. Obviously, we're going to have more of the tongs to take and give away. we'll be having the 12th and final gas forge to give away during that stream. I will also, we have got to get on it this weekend and buy in a ton of blacksmithing tools to give away in the stream. So your help is supported in this, by the way, with your donations here to the channel. They all go towards paying on the shipping and paying for all these great giveaway items. So, you know, be sure to take and do that. Chime in. Every little bit helps, you know. And we get a couple bucks from here, there, or wherever, you know, you'd be surprised if everybody who shows up, you know, just donate a few bucks. Really helps out being able to take and ship things, doesn't it, hun?
Yep,
And buy stuff in. So we've been saving up over the year to be able to purchase in a ton of good items for this year's Great Christmas Giveaway live stream. And so I'm pretty darn excited about that. Now it's just now it's a struggle of deciding how much. Do we buy really big fancy items and then have very few to give away? Or do we buy medium priced items and have medium amounts to give away? Or do we buy fairly, you know, economical items and have a ton to give away with a ton of shipping?
That is the
Choices,
question.
choices, huh?
That's right.
So yeah, so that's what we got going on. Yeah, won't be doing anything else this year. I have a ton of YouTube content coming out here very soon. I hope everybody will take a chance and watch that. That's going to be fairly slow here, but it's going to be coming out over the next month or two. I've got some me playing around on a 500-pound Bradley strap hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Me forging some stuff on a 300-pound hammer. You know, just some stuff like you do.
Jesse Yancey, yes. If you want to send some stuff to give away, you can. We try to stick to tooling for blacksmiths, and Possum Sausage said he was going to send some things as well.
Good. Well, you need to get, I don't want to be pushy, but you need to get on those so this way we can show them off in our announcement video, our Christmas giveaway announcement video.
Our shipping address is down in the description below of pretty much all of our videos, but definitely the live stream ones as well. So
this here, I had to play on a 300-pound strap hammer, Bradley strap hammer, at a great guy's shop, Patrick Nowak's house. This is from a bar of 2-inch scrap material. Don't know what it is. Could be high carbon, could be low carbon. It was just off his rack. And so started off about that long, 2 inches around diameter, and I forged this big gigantic leaf out of it.
Yes, that's like, what are we going to do with that leaf? I said Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, that needs to go on a sculpture.
Yeah, so there you go. So forge that out. There'll be a video on that, having to play around with that. What we're going to do with this leaf is it's going to live here and be part of the art in the background.
Balek says, heck of a keychain leaf.
Yeah, put a little hole in it, put a little tiny loop on it, have it drag around on the ground behind your thighs, you know.
PJ says, is that a handle to a sugar spoon?
Yeah, yeah, pretty big. I just haven't forged out the spoon part yet, huh? So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I'll have that. I'll have some more videos on both the FABA conference, UMBA conference coming out. I will have more, just videos on that. I also have some other videos. I got a new tool in the shop that was sent to me by Vivor. Again, free of charge. They sent it to me, so there'll be a review on a belt grinder coming out here real soon. I got to finish up that video, put the final touches on it, and yeah, there's a whole bunch. I have the exciting conclusion to the Baroque, French Baroque style door knocker that we would make. I still have to put the final touches on that video and get it out, but all the filming and assets have been done. It's just a matter of me being able to find some time to sit for 6-7 hours straight and spend time editing all these videos, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So,
and there's one other thing we're trying that you'll probably see a bit here and there. We're going to try posting a short between regular videos. So, you know, a short video is 60 seconds or less. And basically what we're going to do is, so when you see those videos come up, they're actually going to be short edits of previous videos that have been done. You know, it may be videos from a couple years ago, But if you find it interesting and you want to watch the original video, it will be linked in the description. So it's kind of going to be like a little commercial ad for full videos we've done in the past.
Yep. Yeah, and you know, we figured that might be a way of us taking advantage of the opportunity on YouTube. That is the shorts that they're all trying to push right now, the short form content, while also taking care of a much needed issue on the channel of, I get asked all the time, hey, what is your thoughts about this? And I answered it in a video 1,800 videos ago that it's on the channel, but it's been buried into the archive. So unless you're willing to go dig for it, which a lot of people aren't, right? It's a great way of reintroducing that content, that older content, in a way so this way you can watch the older video and be able to access that information a little bit quicker. So we'll try it. We'll see how it works.
Yep.
So it's nice because it'll be in between our other content. So you'll have our regular scheduled programming when we put those out. I've been putting out a video once to twice a week, generally, when I'm here. We went down to one video a week here just recently. But so you'll see that on the channel. That'll be a change kind of coming forward and going into the future. I have some more destruction testing to do to make the internet unhappy. I got some more videos on that coming out, some more cringeworthy content. So I'm going to be a pariah yet of the blacksmithing world. I'm working on it. I am working on it. So just trying my hardest at it. So eventually I'll be able to fade into obscurity. Hopefully a very wealthy individual.
That's what you're trying for.
Yeah, have like a couple viral successes, where like YouTube pays me like a mint, like $100,000 for a video. I'm dreaming, by the way, they don't do that. But like I get paid like $100,000 for a video, and then like nobody ever talks to me again in the blacksmithing world.
Yeah. Then you're gonna go take up like woodworking or something.
Yeah. No, I'll still blacksmith.
Yeah.
It'll just be much quieter. I'll change name of the channel. It'll be like something else. It'll be like Uncle Bob's Wonder Emporium or something.
The Winter Blacksmith.
I'll get one of them voice changers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Never show your face.
Yeah, never show my face. Only hands. And special pants.
Special.
It'll be a whole set. It'll be a whole set. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, wow, I just really love being subscribed to Uncle Bob's Wonder Emporium. He's such a great blacksmith. He reminds me of a guy. Someday. Working on it.
We'll see. Roger Caldwell says you'd miss us.
Oh, I'd miss the heck out of everybody. I would. For like a year. Then everybody will forget about me. And I'll partially forget about them. And then I'll come back. Surprise comeback. Everybody like, Roy who?
Troy says, so you're saying it will take $100,000 to get Roy quiet?
Yes. You got somebody?
If I remember correctly, we're going for $100,000 for a kilt too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be over the edge. He'll wear the kilt. That's it.
Hey, we're trying to get them from all angles here.
Oh, okay.
Make it $200,000.
Okay. Oh,
300,
separate,
400, right? Well, we're trying to work for a flat mill eventually. Enough schemes, and we might make a flat million, and we just disappear. You're like, what happened to him? I don't know. Oh, who knows? It's YouTube, right? So, pretty exciting content. Enough of that nonsense and dribble travel. Us hypothesizing about the future there, right? Dreaming of the day when our YouTube millions come in, right? Yeah, we'll keep dreaming. It's been 7 years. No YouTube millions as of yet.
No.
So, doubt it'll be coming anytime soon. Anyways, so lots of good content coming. At least I believe it's good content. Hopefully you guys will think so too. Let's give away this gas forge and let everybody go.
Okay.
I'm kind of ready to go in myself and
call
our quits for the evening.
Okay.
And then answer emails and package things, package items. And then lay down my head for the evening. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Look forward to that. So, all right, we ready?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, all right. So we are going to be drawing for the Mr. Volcano Gas Forge. This is the 11th one that we've given away this year. We will have the 12th one coming up in the Great Blacksmith Christmas Giveaway live stream, as we stated before. If you want details on all that, look down in the description down below. So, are we ready, Jess? Do we need to have any disclaimers? Are we good?
Yes, this is open to the United States, Canada, UK, and Australia.
Yep, there you go. So, and are we ready?
We are.
All right, we are going to take and roll the hammer and roll the dice here. And I should also point this out before we do that. If you live somewhere that's not in the United States of America, we are not responsible for your country's freaky deaky fees, okay? So your VAT taxes or special duties or whatever they charge you over there, you need to be aware of those, that might be your thing. We're writing it out as a gift, but we have no clue what that'll be once we ship it, do we, hon?
Right.
Oh, well, we're not up on that, so. Those things change like a fart in a windstorm, don't they? So, again, you may be responsible for those fees. Don't know if they charge it in your country on gifts. Not sure if there's a gift tax. So just be aware if you win and you're out of country. We ready?
Yes, we are ready.
You've been ready for a while, haven't you? There's been like 100 comments going by, huh?
They're getting there. They're still warming up.
Yeah, they're still warming up?
Yeah, they're doing all right.
Ah, they're not excited about the gas forge, huh? All right, here we go. Who do we have?
We landed on, oh, it's still rolling. Gotta wait for it to stop. All right, we landed on Xavier Sontag with Forge.
Xavier Sontag?
That's correct.
It's probably a name spelt backwards. I don't know.
Maybe.
No? Xavier Sontag.
Revax would be his first name if that's if it's spelled backwards. I'm not sure.
Congratulations. Get with us through the contact email down in the description. Xavier
Sontag.
Sontag. Oh, there you go. Sorry, we are totally ruining probably the last name. And I can't read it because all I can look is Jessica's eyeballs. And she's like, yeah, Sontag. I'm like,
That's
okay, I don't know.
I've had a surprising amount of people say I've said their name right, but there's probably plenty of people who say, just don't tell me when I get it wrong. So I do what I can.
Jessica tries. Jessica tries.
Oh, no, I got it right. Okay, good.
Hey, all right. Well, congratulations. You are the winner of the Mr. Volcano Gas Forge. Get with us through the contact email down in the description. Good to go.
And we should probably draw 3 stickers real quick before we sign off.
Yeah, go ahead and draw 3 stickers.
All right.
You're going to draw 3 names at random? Yeah?
Yep, that's what we're going to do.
Shall I roll?
You shall
The drum roll?
You may.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. This is for the first sticker pack we're going to give away. Who do we have, Jess?
Right. We have, let's see, Robert Menvenson. Robert Menvenson.
Robert Minvenson, congratulations. You're a winner of one of our Christ-Centered Ironworks sticker pack bundles. Oh, also, those are provided to us by Dana Maggiore. Thank you so much for that contribution to the channel. It allows us to take and give away some of these stickers and get some stickers all the way out across the world. So thank you for that.
He does an awesome job. So if you need stickers, his email is down in the description below.
Yep, he's your guy. We ready?
Yep, ready.
Let's draw for sticker pack number 2.
All right.
Who do we have?
All right, we have PJ with stickers.
PJ, congratulations.
PJ.
Get with us, contact email. You know the drill, description. And last one.
Lastly,
Who do we have?
we have Robert Lannis with sticker.
Robert Lannis. Congratulations, Robert. You know the drill. Get with us.
Although I ought to have your address for as much as you've ordered from us.
Yeah. Robert's a very dedicated customer of ours. Thank you, sir. We should have just gave him some stickers a long time ago, huh?
We should have, yeah.
No, you got to make him work for it. What do you think this is, huh? Some kind of charity? Gotta work for it.
All right. Yes, we
So-
will be closing out. I do have, tonight I have a story/poem. It's got a little short poem at the end, and so I thought it would be a fun one to read.
Good. Yeah, so that's how we'll be closing it out. I did want to take and mention something real quick here. We did a video about this. It didn't get a lot of traction. The video didn't. So I do want to take and mention it before we all check out this evening. Jessica and I, part of our year-end giving that we try to take and do every year, we've been trying to ramp this up steadily over the years as we go. Last year, we did basically we did a percentage of our income and we donated it to St. Jude Children's Hospital, didn't we, honey? On the orders that had came in.
Yep.
What was it? Through the month of November, December, or was it just
It was
December?
just November last year.
Was it just November last year? So, so we did a portion of our income through the month of November of any orders that came in, and we gifted it to St. Jude. This year we extended it, did we not?
Yep.
We extended it from, did we do it the 1st of November?
1st of November to Christmas Day.
Yeah, 1st of November till Christmas Day. We extended doing the same thing again. So if you're looking to get one of our blanks over our website, blacksmithingblanks.com, or a digital download, or basically anything that we sell over there that is blacksmithing related over at our website, you can use the coupon code St. Jude. In that, you will not only get 10% off of your purchase, but it will also signal to us that you want to take and apply 10% of that order total to St. Jude Children's Hospital, and we're going to give that to them on the blacksmithing community's behalf. So we'll write a check for that, and that'll be on, we'll talk about that in January 1's live stream, basically. Right, honey?
Yep. Yep.
What, how we came out on that and do that. That is something that I hope to continue to grow. There's been a lot of people have been using that coupon code, so it's great. If you don't know anything about us, haven't been part of any of our other type programs or discounts or anything like that, you can use that coupon code St. Jude over at our website and get whatever you've been looking at for additional 10% off, and 10% will go to St. Jude. So.
Yep.
And yeah, and that's on the order subtotal. Yeah. So that's something big. I hope that's something that we can keep growing over the years as we go, as the channel continues to get bigger and bigger. If it does in fact get bigger and bigger, I want to continue to take and be blessing others like that, not only just in the blacksmithing community and do more and more in that way, but I would also like to be able to bless others who are not part of the blacksmithing community, and people who worthy causes who need help. It may not always be St. Jude's. It may be something else we end up doing next year. We've done St. Jude twice in a row, so we may end up doing a different charity next year and donate a good portion of our income that way. So I invite you all to join in with us on that, even if you just bought a few blanks, something like that. It goes to a good cause that way, and it also goes to feeding Roy. So it's a win-win, and you get to forge something. See? Everyone's happy.
Yep.
We're all holding hands together singing Kumbaya.
I can picture it.
Boy, that would be a
Quad
motley
State.
crew, wouldn't it? Get all the blacksmiths
That would
together
be
singing
something.
Kumbaya. Yeah, that's a
That would be
little
that'd be
weird.
Great.
Little weird. We should back that off about 20%.
I'm gonna do a reel on that if you do. That'd be great.
People will be like, what type of cringe content is this? So anyways, yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that. What else? There's something else I was going to say, but I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jessica. I'll turn it over to Jessica. She's about frozen stiff to a popsicle. Huh.
Yes. I think I got my. Okay,
Even though
it's
she's
still
got
on
a
red.
heated jacket on.
It's not helping my hands and my toes though.
No? Okay. Well, I know I got to get her for Christmas now. So I'm going to turn you over to Jessica. She's going to lead us out in, with a little story and a poem. And so thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you to all the channel members that make content here at Christ Center Ironworks possible, that you guys have been donating. Thank you to everybody who's been purchasing blanks from us as well, making that business flourish, and watching all of our videos and doing all that stuff, sharing out our content. We wouldn't be here without you. And so just thank you so much for that. And without further ado, God bless each and every last one of you out there in your forges this week. And I turn you over to Jess. See you come Christmas live stream.
And a happy Thanksgiving.
And have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right. This story is technically about a farrier, so I'll warn you. But it's called For Want of a Nail, and it is an excerpt from 50 Famous People by James Baldwin. And it goes like this. A blacksmith was shoeing a horse. "Shoe him quickly, for the king wishes to ride him to battle," said the groom who had brought him in. "Do you think there will be a battle?" asked the blacksmith. "Most certainly, and very soon too," answered the man. "The king's enemies are even now advancing, and all are ready for the fight. Today will decide whether Richard or Henry shall be the king of England." The smith went on with his work. From a bar of iron he made 4 horseshoes. Then he hammered and shaped and fitted to the horse's feet. Then he began to nail them on. But after he had nailed on 2 shoes, he had found that he had not nails enough for the other 2. "I only have 6 nails," he said, "and it will take a little time to hammer out 10 more. "Oh well," said the groom, "won't 6 nails do? Put 3 in each shoe. I hear the trumpets now. King Richard will be impatient." "3 nails in each shoe will hold them on," said the smith. "Yes, I think we may risk it." So he quickly finished the shoeing, and the groom hurried to lead the horse to the king. The battle had been raging for some time. King Richard rode hither and thither, cheering his men and fighting his foes. His enemy, Henry, who wished to be king, was pressing him hard. Far away at the other side of the field, King Richard saw his men falling back. Without his help, they would soon be beaten. So he spurred his horse to ride to their aid. He was hardly halfway across the stony field when one of the horse's shoes flew off. The horse was lamed on a rock. Then another shoe came off. The horse stumbled, and his rider was thrown heavily to the ground. Before the king could rise, his frightened horse, although lame, had galloped away. The king looked and saw that his soldiers were beaten and that the battle was everywhere going against him. He waved his sword in the air. He shouted, "A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!" But there was no horse for him. His soldiers were intent on saving themselves. They could not give him any help. The battle was lost. King Richard had lost. Henry became king of England. For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For the want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For the want of a horse, the battle was lost. For the failure of battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend. God bless you.